dreams and nightmares.
Mobile Legends every diamond count, and with Bonox, recharging is easy, fast, and secure. Jumping now, choose your top up and get ready to dominate the map. Plus, use the code MCTBNX to get 5% discount. Skins, events, hero, everything within reach with a single top up. Less waiting, more action. Recharge with Bonox and play it at next.
Welcome everyone to MCT AMER South Group Final. I'm your host, Sina Lily, and we've reached our biggest moments of the tournament. After days of intense competition, the remaining teams are ready to fight for that top spot to prove they are the strongest in the South. The pressure is high, the competition is fierce, and every team knows what's at stake. Get ready for explosive team fights, massive moments, and top-tier Mobile Legends gameplay because the road to the championship continues here. On the casting desk, we've got the ultimate hype duo, Private Dancer and Rico. How are you guys feeling today?
I'm feeling great. It has been a long and winding road that started more than 6 weeks ago, and it will end for some here. 2 teams, 10 players here, but only one will move forward. One will earn that ticket to MSC. One will carry the banner of the South into battle against the North in the Grand Finals.
So many things that all the teams has been through. Finally, when it comes all to this day, this is the MCT AMER South Final. So hi Zena, hi Private. I'm so happy to see here. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be history being made of MLBB one more time. Let's go.
All right, yes, today is the last day of the South group matches and tournaments, so we are excited for today and looking forward to what's in store for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of emotion coming out. These 2 teams have been fighting tooth and nail at the top of the playoffs here for their chance. Today, unlike any other day, our first, our last, our only best of 7 here in the South. These 2 Titans will clash and duke it out for what promises to be a long and fortuitous night.
You got anything to say? But
okay.
All right. Well, anyways, before the action begins, let's take a quick look at the playoff format.
Welcome to AMER 2026, the official league for Mobile Legends Bang Bang in the Americas. In this video, we'll walk you through the format of the competition. The league is divided into 2 regions, North America and South America. Each region features 8 teams, for a total of 16 teams competing in the ecosystem. The regions compete separately during the season before meeting in the Americas Finals. Each region begins with the Swiss stage. All 8 teams compete across multiple rounds. Teams are matched against opponents with the same win-loss record, ensuring balanced competition. Matches in this stage are played in a best-of-3 format. The playoffs are divided into 2 phases based on seeding. Lower seeded teams begin in Phase 1, where matches are played in a single elimination format. Higher seeded teams advance directly to Phase 2, which uses a double elimination bracket. Matches throughout the playoffs are played in a best-of-5 series. In Phase 2, teams that lose in the upper bracket move to the lower bracket for a final chance to continue. The playoffs culminate in the group's final. The final match is played in a best-of-5 series to determine the group champion. The champions from North America and South America advance to the Americas Finals. Here, they compete to determine the best team in the Americas in a best-of-7. Everything leads here. AMER 2026 starts now.
Yes, at this stage of the competition, there is no room for error. Teams must stay sharp, adapt quickly, and fight for every advantage as they continue their push towards the championship.
Yeah, it is so amazing to see like this Swiss format, and not only that, but to see like the all Americas like getting together, like interacting with this form, with this tournament here. Like I'm so excited to see what is going to happen, like what in the future of MLBB scenario. Everything's been so amazing so far.
Yeah, especially for this caster who has kind of dipped his toes into the South to see all the Portuguese and Spanish teams here, to see what everybody has been made of. It has been an incredible journey learning about all of the teams, all of the players, and their strengths that will come to a pinnacle here today.
Yes, and before we move on, let's take a look again at one of my favorite parts of the competition, the global bans.
We'll have the global ban in MCT Americas to bring more dynamism and special strategies. Under global ban rules, each hero can only be selected once by each team. After every match, the 5 heroes used are banned for the remainder of the series. The pick ban applies only to the team that used the hero. The opponent may pick it next game. In best-of-7 matches, the global ban resets for both teams if it reaches the final game. Expect new strategies, fresh picks, and much more.
Extremely excited for all of that right now, and the global bans have made it possible for us to see heroes we don't usually see in tournaments.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that we've been through here, like so many strategies, so many drafts, so many surprises here, like with many heroes being brought here in this global ban format, especially today in the best of 7. And we hope to get to all the 7 games because, as we all know, on the game number 7, if we get to the game number 7, all the heroes are reset and they are all open again.
Yeah, and before that, you'll have our first game 6 potentially, where all of these heroes, we might be dipping very thinly into a hero pool that has been going through the rocker through the entire series. So it's a lot of things on the line, and a lot of very interesting combinations can be had.
Yes, interesting indeed, but let us give a shout out real quick to our sponsor, the runestone.gg. Make sure you go check them out for getting some data analytics and tips and tricks for you to kind of improve your gameplay so you can be on top notch just like these players here in the tournament.
Improving your game level here with the Runestone, which is responsible for all this magic happening here, especially today for this grand final on MCT AMER South.
Yeah, a lot of people ask what you can do to like get into esports, what you can do to become a pro player. And I tell you, those roads start with the knowledge of the game, and where better to find knowledge of the game than runestone.gg.
Yes, you can also check our social medias, MLBB Esports, also for some tips and also highlights of things that's been happening in the tournament to keep to stay in the know and keep track of what's going on.
Yeah, not only that, but all the things that is happening on MLBB ecosystem, you're about to know if you follow our social media, especially on EWC, which is coming next in Paris, France. So everything that you have to know and you're about to know if you follow our social networks.
Yeah, it's gonna every single thing that you might have missed. I know yesterday was a very long night for some, even I want to say even longer than the Thursday night for the North, where it dipped into like 2 a.m. So if you might have missed anything, you can go back to MLBB Esports to find out all the highlights and all the results for the matches of your favorite teams.
Yes, and let us really quickly look at where we are right now in the brackets. All right, where are we, Private?
Well, I mean, that was a long road for some, but I feel like kind of expected for our Entity 7 and Alpha 7 finalists, who really came in through the Swiss stage with a bang, getting our top 2 seeds and eventually claiming those final 2 seats here in the finals. A little bit of an upset as Alpha 7 finally was able to climb the mountain and conquer the beasts that are Entity 7, dropping them down to the lower bracket. But I want to say Entity 7 came back with a head full of steam and vengeance on the mind to claim that final seat here in the group finals.
Yeah, and besides some surprises that we see here, some teams that they were incredibly good here with a very solid performance. The 2 teams here we got a high expectations that Entity 7 and Alpha 7 are now responsible for this grand final here on MCT AMER South. So so many expectations here, like the highest as possible here. So I am so excited to see what is going to happen today.
Yes, we are super excited. They are getting a chance to kind of go head to head with each other again. Alpha 7 versus Entity 7 here. A lot of 7s, best of 7, just like we said the other day. But let us look at the schedule today. And like I said, here it is, all the 7s, Alpha 7, Entity 7, best of 7. We are going to have it all today here for you.
Yeah, it's a huge possibility of this going to going to a best of 7, as these teams have been so evenly matched, especially with Alpha 7, including the addition of their new coach, have really put them on the map, made them a very even with Entity 7 here. So this has the highest possibility of going the entire best of 7 matches.
Yeah, there's so much history between these two teams here. Entity 7 with the former champion Trinity are from the last season versus Alpha 7, which is very good with so many experience on international events here. So once again, they are going to face each other, but now in this grand final in the best of 7.
Yes, we are all looking forward for this match, and whoever wins here is going to take on the North. Super excited for all of that, and we'll see who will be taking them on here. They both have been doing an amazing job there on the field, and like Private was saying, Alpha 7 has recently just got their coach, and I feel like it's been doing wonders for them.
Yeah, especially when it comes into the interviews with Alpha 7. One of the main things that they've always been saying before they even got the coach, in the prospect of finding one, is that the more heads, the better. And that is just a great attitude to have. And it's shown with their drafting. I want to say a complete surprise for Entity 7 and dropping them to the lower brackets. But if anybody can pick up those pieces, dust themselves off, and bounce right back, I have a feeling it can be Alpha 7 or Entity 7. Sorry.
For sure. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see who's on the roster today for Alpha 7. We've got EXP Lean Hesu on that jungle, Flick, mid lane, Frost lane Eevee, gold lane, Upatizi, and Paquito for that roam.
I got your back here, Private. There's so many 7s, I can understand that. But now, I believe that we're gonna have like a video coming out from Alpha 7. So let's see what are they going to say to us.
So I'm gonna start with number 1, Black. Number 2, Akashi, because he can use Claude XP lane. Top 3, Orochi. Top 4 is Chino on top 4. Top 5 is King, top 5.
Alright, and for who they're going against, Entity 7 on the EXP, we got Akashi, Hide on Bush for the jungle, mid lane Shin, gold lane Doom, and our roamer Vagine.
Yeah, and for so long, these 5 players have stood as the pillar in the South throughout the Swiss stage and the playoffs, suffering one singular defeat to Alpha 7 that dropped them to the South. But let's go ahead and see what they had to say ahead of this matchup.
Super fun matchup we have for you today. These top 2 teams have been running through the whole tournament here in the South. Entity 7 and Alpha 7, they both were top tier here in this tournament.
Yeah, so we are really excited to see what is going to happen today, because there's so much history between these two teams, especially when it comes to Entity 7 with the Trinity, Doom, Shin, and Hide Bush, which was from the old Black Sentence, which was the last champion on the MPL Latam Season 4. Was not versus Alpha 7, because Alpha 7 was beaten by the old Influence Rage, which is now Titan Esports. But still, there are some of the matches that Alpha 7 was was struggling versus Entity 7, but it seems that yesterday that we saw yesterday with the whole 5 games yesterday, it seems that Alpha 7 found some ways to make Entity 7 bleed, to make Entity 7 like suffer in this gameplay here on MLBB. So which is going to be very interesting, especially now with Darkness, the coach from Alpha 7 in this final sprint. So let's see what is going to happen on this grand final here.
Yeah, Entity 7's road through AMER South can be described in one word, and that has been dominance. Getting themselves a little bit of a bye for 2 weeks where they got to sit pretty and still kind of continue on that tradition of taking down teams until we got into the upper bracket finals, where Alpha 7, who have still been very good, their only defeat was to Entity 7. And when we talk with them, they're basically the team that one word that describes them is just positivity. All of them, and especially Hesu, who's been doing our interviews for us, has talked about the positivity, the brotherly love that these guys share, the ability that they have to communicate to each other without like taking it to heart. And that has opened up this team to be able to get to this point, especially accepting a new coach into it at the end, to shake things up, to have a new coach in there and still be able to absorb what he has to tell you and be able to use that successfully against a team like Entity 7 says a lot about your team. And these two, like we said, have been standing tall, the two beacons here in the South from the beginning. I think a lot of people had these two teams pointed as being the finalists here in the South, but today only one will be able to move forward, and we get to find out who that is.
Yes, Entity 7 and Alpha 7 are amazing teams. They both have different, personalities here. Alpha 7's, like Private said, they've always been positive, super humble. They never talked bad about anybody. Then Entity 7, they've just been a terror to deal with. They're like running through here and just dominating the field. Their strategic plays, they're just on top gameplay, top tier and top notch there in all that they do. So
yeah. And it's a funny thing here, like, so we're talking about like Alpha 7's getting this new coach, and I was looking up here from through some history. Darkness is not that new on Alpha 7's lineup. He was there on 2024, and then he moved, and now he's back to help this team maybe to get this title here on MCT AMER South. So let's see what is going to happen today, because man, it's a best of 7. Both teams are like cooking, even the banning phase here, but now the first one is Valentina through by Entity 7 so far. I'm expecting here, Private, Zunshin, Fovius, Freya on this ban, because everything is possible here.
I'm expecting actually the opposite. From what I've been seeing, a lot of teams, what they're doing now is they're trying to off-ban. They're trying to off-ban so that they have all of these options available, and it forces the teams to pick, all right, which one of these OP picks do we get, or do we want the enemy team to respond with? I've been seeing them leave open Boxia, leave open Freya, we saw from last night as well. And the biggest difference here has been the drafting that Alpha 7 has been doing, which has been which was a big shock to Alpha or Entity 7 yesterday, but I feel like they cleaned that up with a very dominating victory over DreamMax. Now what we need to see is, will that drafting hold up? And one of the big second points for both of these teams is discipline in match, which we saw that even with some great I want to say some great adjustments to their composition, Alpha 7 had a little bit of a rockiness when it came to maintaining their lead. They would hold it up right until the end, and Entity 7 would find that little bit of a crack, be able to win a team fight and run it home when the entire game was actually dominated by their opponents. So that's something that needs to be on both of these teams' minds when it comes to not just the draft, but also the gameplay during these matches.
Yes, I feel like this is going to be a competition to be had for sure. Entity 7 is not going to count out Alpha 7 like they did because they knocked them down to that loser bracket. So they're for sure going to make sure that that's not going to happen again. They're going to go ahead and ban out a lot of the mages here. Already starting out with banning out Yi, Valentina, Zushin. Volvius is getting taken out, and Freya. Boxia, I feel, would be the next one that they may be planning to take out here too.
Yeah, we actually heard out here in a private one, the chaos on this best of 7 here, like full, like bloody team fights here and games, which is really cool because we all expect that at least 7 games here. On this last ban on the first phase here, like I mean, it could be Boxia here, but I think that with Suyo, just the open Claude carry here, maybe Entity 7 is going to focus on a gold lane, for example, to Doom. So there's so many broken heroes here, so many meta. So no Sora. Okay. All right, that's interesting here, but it's still like so many open opportunities for Entity 7 here to restart. But they have to think about it. Comes Boxia, because it comes now the response from Alpha 7 with 2 options. That could be Suyo and Claude, for example. It's a possibility for Upatizi and Flick. That could be.
Marcel is still out there too. I feel like we're gonna have a combination of something with a Marcel out there, possibly a Suyo with a Marcel. I mean, we've seen a lot of different combinations come out here, and I feel like the South has been in a really good position as opposed to the North with how they use Marcel. We've gone from very stringent compositions that need to hold Marcel up to us being able to kind of be very flexible with him, to use him for engagements or defense, to throw those great golden hours on to either the Lord or to stop the enemy from trying to come in for an engagement. So one thing has been for sure is I really feel like we have a great step up when it comes to our Marcel use. Ooh, and I feel like in an immediate answer, Entity 7 scooped that up from Alpha 7.
Yeah, Entity 7 taking up Boxy and Marcel here, and then Alpha 7's going with Farsa and Grok. So far, most of the meta heroes is on the side of Entity here with Marcel and Boxia. But, and they're go ahead and scooping up Claude here. I'm thinking Harith will be next on Alpha 7 side, possibly. Carry?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be here. So Marcel and Claude, the choices coming out from Entity 7 here. Like, I think that a Grok here, like, to allow Paquito to make this choices to create some plays, especially with this hard engage coming out from Grok. So that could be a very interesting plan here coming out from Alpha 7. Plus Farsa here, like, working with this not only about the burst when it comes to magical damage, but also to this range situations here to avoid maybe Marcel with the golden hour or even Boxer with the Beyblade form here. So so many options, there's so many things that we can think about on this first draft. And now it comes Insun from to Alpha 7. Always a possibility like about this flexibility, or gold lane or the jungle here when it comes to Insun.
Yeah, a lot of options out there. For me, looking at this type of composition, I'm kind of wondering, do we have a way to kind of close the distance on a Farja? We've got a decent amount of peel with her, which is why I kind of like usually favor Grok picks, which we don't really see as often as I would like, because I feel like he's just got a double sword here where he can protect your back line with a lot of pop-ups and CC, and he can also be that engagement tool with like a flicker and a tech charge to be able to pop up a lot of units to really set up a lot of these great fights. Here, and that's my biggest question. Are we going to be able to get to that back line? And not just with Marcel using that golden hour, but you're going to have somebody else who can get back there before Claude gets those 3 items he needs to be able to actually kind of spray on with that blazing duet. Here we do see that CC taken off the board, as well as a Lunux.
Yes, they're for sure targeting mage bans because that's what they need here. The mage and EXP laner for the side of Entity 7, and Alpha 7's also needing their EXP laner as well. I feel like they might be picking up like a U zone would be good if you're saying that you want somebody to kind of reach their back line.
Well, they thought that too. That's why they banned it.
Yeah. Oh, yep, there you go. I just saw that. Well, there you go. They're like, you know what? We can't have this. Never mind.
Yeah, which is very interesting here because we are seeing like both teams with the right focus here, like Alpha 7 banning mid lanes here, while MCT 7 banning at speed lane, like with the CC and Huzon. Always and also for Vias here, like they're trying to neutralize Hess's options here when it comes to this first game. But now here, like looking for Alpha 7 to bring this Terizla and the penalty zone. Like, so you want a CC? Alpha 7 is bringing up CC here. It is tectonic charge. It is of this penalty zone here. So some ways and some keys to create plays for Alpha 7 so far here in this composition.
Jet trooper reporting for duty.
While I'm looking at this, the perfect pickup for a jungler on the side of Alpha 7 would probably be Guinevere. Because it would meld well with the Terizla and the Grok out there. Here, I do like the Lapu. I was gonna say, I was very curious that Entity 7 hadn't prioritized a mage, even though they had banned 2 in the early phase as well. And you had the Zushin ban out on the other side. So there was a big priority for a lot of these mage bans to come through, especially after Alpha 7 had already claimed theirs and then started to continue on the trend, banning more mages to really iron out or really kind of close in the walls on what the good options were for Entity 7. Kimmy being, I want to say, one of the last good picks out there. Maybe a Lilia probably is one of the other options here. Now waiting for Alpha 7 to pick up the potential jungler. Oh no, so then it will be you some shit.
But now here, see, like Moskov heading to the goal lane here for Opatizi and Flick with Insunshin on the jungler here. It's gonna be very interesting, Boxer versus Insunshin, especially like Insunshin working with this stacks here, like melee and range situation when it comes to this objective. So, which is gonna be very interesting between these two teams. But when it comes to this composition here, like Akashi bringing Lapu to bring some immunity here when it comes to the initiations from Alpha 7 with the penalty zone and the tectonic charge, for example. Shin with the Kimi here, like I think that is up to assure like one more safety here to avoid these initiations coming out from Alpha 7. So if I believe that if Entity 7 chooses a static mage here, that would be like a problem for them. Maybe Lilia, as Private was saying, or Kimi here, that would be the best option. And when it comes to Doom here versus Upatizi, like Doom need this Trinity core items here to impact on the team fights, and Upatizi with the global ultimate presence here can join the team fights here while he works on this split push. It's gonna be very interesting here, like this first match when it comes to these both teams, because it is the best of 7. It is the grand final here of MCT AMER South Private.
Yeah, and I'm a little scared on the side of Entity 7 because while we do have the golden hour, I feel like the initiating factor is definitely leaning towards Alpha 7 with like some of those crazy shock, flicker, tectonic charges to come in with a great setup. You don't even have to get to the back line. I feel like with this type of combination, with Hesu there, with the feathered airstrike, you can possibly go ahead, just go right for hide on bush, right in the middle of the turtle pit and be able to burst him down, especially in the early game. So there is a lot riding here on some of these initiating factors. Is Vigin going to be able to kind of sense out where these are coming from, get the golden hour that will allow his team to be able to secure a lot of these objectives in the early game, or will Alpha 7 just really be able to kind of steamroll through a lot of those objectives while I want to say both of these teams kind of waiting for that late game for both of these marksmen?
Yeah, so you are on the chat here. You are the main star of the show. So Everybody here, welcome to this land of dawn. Welcome to this grand MCT AMER South Final. Everybody stay tuned because this is Entity 7 versus Alpha 7. A best of 7. A big shout out to all the fans, all the people on the chat here. Pinoy, GM Kilua, Chrono Gas is here on the chat also, which is doing an amazing job on MCT AMER North. But here, let's go private because this is Entity 7 versus Alpha 7.
Yeah, I want to say too, like while we're looking at talking about Entity 7, we're talking about an animal that has kind of licking their wounds after that defeat they suffered against Alpha 7. So you know they have revenge on their mind. Their big focus going to be on draft. And when we talk about Entity 7, one of the biggest things that comes out is words like discipline when it comes to how well they kind of navigate some of these fights, how well, even when they're super behind, understanding the gameplay, what their heroes can take, and what they need to do to succeed despite how the game is going. That's going to be one of the biggest things I'm going to be watching out for here too, because I feel like lately we've been seeing like a few little cracks in that armor. Shin made some misplays yesterday that we weren't used to seeing. When the roam went down, Shin kind of started face checking bushes, kind of I want to say like was expecting the roam to be there, and unfortunately Alpha 7 was able to take advantage of a lot of those engagements.
Yeah, so here's a 2v2 situation on the bottom lane here in XP lane, but now both teams are like heading and moving towards because the first turtle is about to appear on this downside of the river in 5 seconds. Oh, Doom here. Oh, Doom versus Opatizi.
Yeah, they're going at it here right now, trying to see a little bit of an ego there as both of them go into it. Upatizi is going to have to use that flicker to get out of there. Finally, that little game of chicken between him and Doom, he does back up there. Now starting up on the turn, you can see Flick up on the side. Now Feathered Airstrike raining down damage. Paquito taking a lot of it's going to have to use that flicker to get himself out of harm's way. Hesu in the midst of this fight gets taken out by Akashi. That first blood going to the side of Entity 7, and I believe that's going to be a first hurdle for them as well. Now going to go ahead and enforce their will into the purple buff. They're not done. They have the scent for blood and going to go ahead and scoop up that purple buff from Alpha 7.
Entity 7 starting on fire here. First blood, first turtle, first purple buff, first everything here when it comes to Entity 7. But now here, in the mid lane, here comes the wall from Paquito. Yeah, so we have to see private, especially on this early game. Oh, here comes again.
Oh, big pop-up again. Went in, got immediately hit up by the Grok. Down comes the Feathered Airstrike as well. Paquito does not make it out. Akashi might be next on the list. Taking a lot of damage. Flick really trying to hone in, but will not be able to find the damage. In comes Doom with a blazing duet. I don't even think he has an item there, but was able to come in and find the damage.
Maybe he doesn't have an item here, private, but when it comes to this low HP players from Alpha 7, he was like, yummy. So let me shine here with the blazing duet, which is working very well. So let's see what is going to happen here because Entity 7 is like playing so aggressive.
Yeah, and not just that, but the usefulness of being able to come in so early on a Claude, even before that power spike comes in with the 3 items. Speaking of which, here now Paquito in trouble here. Feathered Airstrike to try to secure his escape, raining down damage again, taking a lot of it. We do have the golden hour to protect Hide on Bush, doing a great job as well. Now a fight down at the bottom. Hesu and Akashi going at it. Out comes the penalty zone onto Akashi to try to hold him there before Flick gets into position, and down goes Akashi.
Yeah, so now Alpha 7 got his revenge here on the bottom lane in a kill on Akashi, but here comes again, but it's a 1v2 situation. It is just to defend the tower here. So far so good. And now the other turtle on the top side of the river, both teams are moving faster to this important goal. Let's go.
Yeah, Hide on Bush is here, but it's about 4 members of Alpha. Oh, big tech charge comes in. Flick comes and is able to find the retribution. Bagin goes in, but he's by himself. And this might be a little bit of a miscall. Oh, Hide on Bush comes in, helps secure that bit of an escape.
Yeah, both teams here like playing very aggressive. Entity 7 like starting with this very interesting early game, but some mistakes, some hesitations here are like giving some chances to Alpha 7 to get the things tied up. As we're seeing like the goal lead here, like not a big deal. Only 500 of 600 here for Entity 7, but in the early game here, like it's not so much when it comes to these items from both teams, and especially with the carry ones. But it is still important to see what is going to happen in the next few minutes, because not only the other turtle, a turtle for each team, but to see what they're moving and what they're heading to do on this Land of Dawn. Let's go. Oh, hide on bush.
Ooh, hide on bush behind the wall. Hesu comes in looking for the damage. Now 3 more members from Entity 7 try to help out. Hide on bush going on the front, the spear of this damage. Hesu trying to find himself and escape. Goes underneath the tower. Hide on bush able to find the kill onto Paquito. Feathered airstrike raining down damage, and Hesu able to find the kill onto Vagin. 4-3 right now. Both of these teams are scraping tooth and nail, answering to keep up this pressure.
Yeah, now Entity 7 like moving players on this team fight here. Open the chance to Flick to take down this tower on the bottom lane. Oh!
Yeah, Flick in trouble, gets taken out by Akashi.
Oh, Akashi with the tower here. He like, oh my god, I think that he took like 3 or 4 hits on the tower here, which was like enough to get the kill. But now in the goal lane here, like Entity 7 moving these players again, causing this pressure. But oh, in the purple buff, here we go.
Oh, yeah, you can see the pressure now starting to mount. Entity 7 was trying to get up into there, but Alpha 7 putting up a good defense, saw that coming, and able to try to protect that from them. Now going to go ahead and start onto the turtle. Entity 7 in a great position. Paquito trying to get that information, but hide on bush, able to secure the 3rd and last turtle of this first game.
Yeah, so here the 2 turtles for Entity 7 so far. Alpha 7 here like trying to working on the macro, I'm sorry. But Entity 7 like still respond. Oh, Feather airstrike, here we go.
Yeah, pouring on damage is going to go ahead and back and zone out Shen from there. Meanwhile, Hesu takes a little bit of a stun coming out from Vagin, who's been all over the place here. Last time I feel like he was countered out when they had a great ability of being able to kind of isolate him out. Here he's been doing such a great job.
Yeah, I don't see if I saw this right, but that's okay. Entity 7 like still working here, causing this pressure on the mid lane. But Alpha 7 like is working really good on not only this defense, but only like to trying to make the team fights here and block and playing together as a team, especially trying to neutralize this Vagin and working on this stacks on the stun from Marcel. But even up, the game is very tied up for both teams here, probably.
Yeah, right now 5-4, pretty even right now. Hide on bush, able to find a kill on Upatizi. Out comes the golden hour. Paquito might be in trouble as we see the feather airstrike coming out. The rest of Entity 7 diving onto the combination. Akashi able to find a kill onto Hesu. 7-4 right now. Now looking for the disengagement. Down goes Paquito, and that bottom tower is not long for this world.
Vagin didn't care about the tower. He used the flick to avoid the hit here, and it worked so well to neutralize Paquito on Alpha 7. Now Entity 7 with 2 players more here. It takes the opportunity to destroy the tower on the mid lane. Alpha 7 now with the goal lead behind, almost like 3K. They have to get this revenge.
Now, yeah, you can see out goes the Mountain Shocker from Flick, trying to get a little bit of information of where everybody else is on the map. Lord out on the field as Entity 7 beelining for it. They do know that Flick is up at the top, so they're going to go ahead and try to do this very, very quickly. You can see the golden staff being picked up by Upatizi, but Alpha 7 just not in a good position. Ooh, SOD out. I don't think he dares go into 4 members of Entity.
You dare, Patisse, you dare to join this fight here on the Lord with this Spear of Destruction. But it's still like non-stop. Entity 7 here, they secured the Lord. They're still working aggressive here, dominated the jungle on the downside from Alpha 7. Not only giving farm, denying farming for Alpha 7, but also getting this info where the team is all the time to work, especially to defend this Lord. Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, a little bit of an engagement there. Again, continually poking up on the side. Speaking of poking, Shin from the side. The flank's going to go ahead and put some damage on the flick. A little bit of a, you see the feathered airstrike coming out of the side of Alpha 7. Frost Lane Eve really raining down the damage. And that's one of the pluses I want to say for Alpha 7. No matter how hard things are getting, they have that great amount of clear with that feathered airstrike. And Frost Lane Eve has been doing a great job of trying to protect a lot of these towers. Speaking of which, now Lord at the bottom, pressure at the mid, down to just the high ground towers for Alpha 7 as minions beginning to swarm around these towers. Down at the bottom, a lot of engagement coming out there as you see Shin able to release that feathered airstrike. Akashi might be getting chased down. Hesu and Paquito to think twice about continuing on the chase. They did what they needed to. They protected their high ground, so they turned back to the core.
Yeah, so they haven't spotted the rest of the teams from Entity 7, so it might be very risky to chase down on Akashi on the bottom lane here. But Private, here the first game is so different when we saw yesterday from these two teams when it comes to Alpha 7 was dominating yesterday, but besides that they lost the first two games. But now Entity 7 with a different mentality, with different play style here, getting very aggressive. Only one tower on the bottom lane here for Alpha 7 so far after 11 minutes on the game. So we're seeing here the items, the Trinity core items are ready for Doom. As we're seeing Doom with the Blazing Duet before the first item causing so much damage. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. You see Bagin actually charged into that bush against two members. Out comes the feathered airstrike trying to take the damage down now. Trying to latch on to Frost Lane Eve. Goes well deep into the back line. Doom able to find a kill onto Hesu. Entity 7 had a death on their mind. You saw that tunnel vision as they chased down Frost Lane Eve, but took Hesu as a consolation prize.
Yeah, one player down here for Alpha 7. They have to defend the high ground towers while Entity 7 now playing with caution, playing slowly, playing cleverly here, probably waiting for the next Lord, working on this minion waves from the sides here, trying to synchronize and at the same time here to avoid this avoid this farm here, especially for Frost, Lanevi, and Upatizi with Moskov. But one more Lord here, Private, and apparently, it is for sure that Alpha 7's not fight back. Oops. How dare you, Upatizi, once again. But it is more to try to steal the Lord to join this fight.
Yeah, and now, I mean, you can see them, you're going to have the pressure mounting here. Minions started to come in. They're waiting for the Lord. I think that Entity 7 have just shown a more confident approach here to kind of continue on that pressure. And a lot of games, too, a lot of teams try to keep up that pressure with them, try to go hit for hit, toe for toe. And it's just, that is where Entity 7's discipline begins to show and begins to shine through. Even despite all of the action, all of the chaos going out there, they understand pushing the towers, getting those objectives, making sure that they're clearing out lanes, things like that. And it's just the pace, the way that they're able to continually sprint out a lot of this action is too much for a lot of teams. And I feel like they don't want to make the mistakes that they were making yesterday against Alpha 7. Down comes the feathered airstrike, raining down damage. Doom able to find the tower, and a golden hour lands down. Flick is down, taken out by Shin. Now, maybe pressure starting to mount for this core, or is Entity 7 going to go ahead and turn their attention to the rest of these high ground towers? Wall comes out. Tech charge catches 4 members. Is there going to be enough? Shin able to take down the tower as well. Upatizi and the rest of Alpha 7 have to run back to the base. Do they have the minions? 50%, 20% feathered airstrike trying to take them out as Doom finds a kill onto Paquito. Akashi is down. Now more pot shots coming onto the base. Just 2 left. Can Entity close it up for the first game of this series? Oh, it looks like Alpha 7 able to fight back. Doom goes down. They're able to find a kill onto Flick. Now minions at the core. Hide on Bush and Shin do not want to give it up, but they are forced back by Alpha 7.
My goodness, what is happening here on this first game in this grand final? Frost Lanevin being a hero for Alpha 7, especially with the Feather Airstrike to make this clean wave faster for Alpha 7. The whole base is exposed here, but even though Entity 7 with so much discipline, they don't take any risks. They don't go through too deep on this base, and now probably they're heading for the next Lord.
Yeah, now there's 28 seconds left on the Lord. We're taking a look at the items. You see, on especially on the side of Entity 7, who are sitting at about a 7K gold lead over Alpha 7, in a great position to be able to get this next Lord, to keep that positioning up. Even with the Feathered Airstrike raining down damage, I feel like Hesu and Paquito just are not able to find those ways in to get to the back line, to get to Doom, to possibly get to Shin here. Wall is up for Paquito. Now trying to get that information back to his team. You can see on the backside, Upatizi doing his best on the side lane to push. But now with no high ground towers left, Alpha 7 has a time limit on these engagements. Now they're going to go in. Hide on Bush does find himself this next Lord.
Yeah, so Alpha 7 here like tried to do something, but it's only to watch Entity 7 guarantee one more Lord, and now they're heading to the base to try to defend the base at all costs, while the Lord here is heading on the mid lane. No high ground towers for Alpha 7. It all depends to Frost Lanevin with this clean minion waves cleaning here to still defend and still be in this game. Let's go, Private.
Yeah, now mounting the Lord coming into the core. Golden Hour is out, trying to push away Alpha 7 from the security of their base. Oh, big penalty zone comes onto the back line, followed up by the Feathered Airstrike. Down comes the damage onto the core. Entity 7 looking to close out the first game, going to Entity 7.
A very struggling phase here for Alpha 7, but the victory went to Entity 7 on this first game here, Zeno.
Yes, for sure. Entity 7 started off strong and they dominated the map, and they just kept that on, not allowing Alpha 7 any breathing room or to make any strategic plays at all. All they had to do was defend. They had no way to come back from that one, and Entity 7 it's not taking Alpha 7 lightly this time, for sure.
It almost feels like it was a flip from what we saw yesterday, where we saw Entity 7 was kind of on the back foot the entire time. The only problem here is that, like I said, comes down to discipline. Entity 7 was always out there looking for those little cracks in the armor, and here, unfortunately, Entity 7 did not provide Alpha with any of those opportunities.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Entity 7, like with this discipline, when that we did not used to see yesterday versus Alpha 7. Of course, it is only the beginning. I don't want to be early here, but what we saw from Entity 7, like with this aggressive playstyle, but not only with this aggressive one, but to have this discipline. We saw yesterday like Shin with being lost with some wrong positions, for example, but today he was like very solid with this Kimi. 109 here, playing in the mid lane with a 77% of team participation. So when it comes to the Entity 7, at least on this first game, like giving no chance for Alpha 7 to react and to trying to reverse that situation. So it was like very solid for Entity 7. We hope that we hope that for Alpha 7 here, the mentality like will still be strong here for the next matches. because Entity 7, at least on this first game here, it was a really strong. As we see now here in the highlights, especially on this turtle, when Vagin was trying to find this angle, trying to find these opportunities for Entity 7, which gave Akashi the first kill, which gave the turtle for Entity 7. After that, like Entity 7 was like trying to make some plays here, maybe too deep with Vagin, like as we like to say, as we used to say, like Marcel is not that resistant on the roaming, but still like working on stacks to get this stun. And Alpha 7 was trying like to get these things tied up on the early game. But step by step, little by little, like Entity 7 like we're understanding the game, we're understanding like what has needed to do something, what like Upatizi was not having a good time versus Doom on the goal lane here, especially with the Blazing Duet being so proactive since the beginning of the game. So little by little, like Entity 7 were like dominating the map, dominating the pace here, and we're like pushing Alpha 7 through the base. Beside like Frost Lanevi here, like trying to do something special with Varsa, especially when it comes to this burst of magical damage, or trying to working on this zoom out from Entity 7. Entity 7, I believe that they were not afraid about like what they are able to do, what they were able to do here, especially with Vagin trying to find this this angle, working on this stun every time. Iron Bush playing very well with this Baxia once again, not only to controlling these objectives, but also to be like to scare all the time Alpha 7 players when it comes to Frost Lanevi, for example, which only in the base that Frost Lanevi was like he was like comfortable to use the Feather Airstrike like to clean the minion waves. So beside that, Alpha 7 couldn't resist Entity 7's strength, at least on this first game. So the result was there, 1-0 to Entity 7.
Yes, for sure. An amazing job there by Entity 7 here. They made sure to not make the same mistake twice. The way that they dominated this field for sure against Alpha 7. And here we go. We're going to see our MVP, a performance filled with highlight plays and massive moments. Our MVP will be Shin on that Kimmy. 109 KDA, 60.1k total damage, 591 golds per minute.
And this actually worked out really well with that Marcel pick as well. I think you saw a few golden hours where Shin was just like stacking up damage right on the outside, and then as soon as the golden hour ended, you had all of those bullets coming out from the Kimmy to wash over some of that damage there. It was really interesting to me for how ineffective the Farja kind of felt in a lot of these scenarios. I almost feel like, yes, they were putting pressure onto Farja, especially at the end. But Frostlane Eve, I still remember a lot of feathered airstrikes that were out and raining on the team. Unfortunately, just not able to have the effectiveness. The team, they were able to eventually disengage from the zone where the feathered airstrike was coming out, but it didn't really feel like a lot of them were getting down due to the damage. So, I mean, let's taking a look here at some of these highlights coming out from the community. I think, yeah, there's the golden hour. Look at the bullets just waiting. Golden hour ends and boom, just kind of explodes there onto Hesu. So, and which allowed that great kill there as well.
Yeah, so like here in Shin, it's a very strong mid lane. Just a little bit different from what we saw yesterday, like with sometimes like with out of the positions, but it seems that today he is very like prepared to this final, which like which led Entity 7 to win this first game so far.
Yes, but we can't count Alpha 7 out here. They just had a hard start here, but they did give him the Boxia, you know. I'm just saying, but you know, I think they'll draft better on this next round, and they can't count on Entity 7 based on their game yesterday.
I feel like too, when we talk about great players, especially when it comes to mages, I know yesterday the buzz was all about Shaikiche, because she stands out from the team, and it's so much easier to stand out on the team when your team is having ups and downs, because you can see that consistency from her begin to shine like a bright star. Shin, sometimes I feel like he can almost feel dulled because the rest of his team is always shining, always doing what they need to be doing. So it's hard for him to stand out, but definitely when we talk about some of the best mages here in the South, Shin definitely at the top of that list. It's just harder for him to really kind of get that applause, those MVPs, when the rest of the team is like at that exact same level for their other roles as well.
I am a daughter of Northern Vale.
Especially when it comes to Sheen being one of the Trinity, the former champion Trinity from last season here with the old black sentence. But now here comes with the draft on the second game. Valentina and Boxer banned by Entity 7, and now Alpha 7 banning Freya on the first choice here, like waiting for the second one. Zoom. Okay, so prioritizing here, especially when it comes to this first choice to Entity 7. Gato Chachup's like the third ban here coming out from Entity 7. A very interesting one. So let's wait what is going to see here for Alpha 7.
Yeah, I think the Gatakacha ban out there tells me that maybe we're going for one of those stereotypical type of stationary mages that just kind of sit there to release their ult, the Farja, the Eve, possibly. There's a lot of different options, but I mean, Gatakacha really punishes those. And it's been one of those things that I feel like a lot of people sometimes a little bit, I want to say, overestimate Gatakacha. You have the AOG, and a lot of people think, oh, I can initiate with this. I want to say, man, he has probably the worst timing. It takes so long for that ult to come down that most people, like I said, they make a cup of coffee, they drink it, they kind of mosey around, then they can dash away from that ult. That's just how long it takes. You want to use it on one of those, like I said, stationary mages that have to sit there to do their ult, or you want to use them as like a second initiating factor. Maybe a penalty zone comes in first and it's stuck players in there to where they have to expend some of that speed or those flickers, and then the AOG can come out when you've got players who no longer have the spells they can use or the abilities that they can use for mobility.
Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and pick up this Kalea here. Gatakacha, you are right. He is kind of slower, and you can see where he's gonna land. So, but they banned out that Eve there. That's stationary, so I'm not even sure who he can catch. But he can try to probably catch them out when they're having that team fight, right? Then they're too busy paying attention to what's going on, so they can't really see that it's coming here. But for sure they're gonna go ahead and pick out Kalea, Fredrin, and ZTN on the side of Entity 7, and Harith and Phobius on the side of Alpha 7 here.
Yeah, I think from the bottom of my heart, like Kalea's choice here, it was more to take out from Paquito to like being some idea from Entity 7, which we know that Paquito likes very much to play with Kalea, especially when it comes to this execution to Alpha 7. But now with Fredrin and Zetian here, like especially like trying to once again working on this range situation, but not only that, to spot the enemy, to see and look where this Fabio is gonna be all the time, to not stack this demonic force here to bring and get this backline. So let's see with the rest of composition which is going to bring from Entity 7. But now here seeing Alpha 7 guaranteeing Leo Mord for the jungle. It's very interesting as the time that we have like Phobius here on the side, so the strong side lanes here as Harith and Phobius are now waiting for this roaming. I believe we will see a Hilda here in Paquito's hands on Alpha 7's composition to cause more pressure on the river here by the side of Entity 7.
I want to say, man, once you put these drafts all together, it can be so amazing how deep some of it goes. The Valentina, one of the first bans out there, so that when they pick up the Zeshian, you're not going to be able to have the IMU Fury of the Phoenix on Alpha 7 side. And the Zeshian pickup is here so that there's not a counter for the Kalea pickup when she does the Tsunami Slam. And that to me is just so amazing how deep these players, these coaches go with the drafting to think about these counters. To me, I wouldn't even have gone one deep out there to be able to figure out some of these counters. And this is just showing, I want to say, the depth that Entity 7. I feel like Alpha 7 might have created a little bit of a monster here by how they defeated Entity 7 yesterday with that draft. I think that really put into Chris Angel how much I was like, now he actually had to sit up and do his seat. Like, okay, we're gonna figure out some type of drafts here that they're not gonna be able to counter, especially allowing with this combination, allowing the Phoveus out there. I'm very interested to see how we deal with him. I think Kalea could possibly be a good answer. The only thing I feel like we are missing is the burst that usually accompanies that Kalea pickup with the Tsunami Slam. You get him into the back lines, especially if it's something like a Phoveus. That is something you want to take care of very quickly before he's able to get those stacks, before he's able to start the demonic force. Then he's just jumping all over your team.
Yeah.
Just waiting to see who they will pick up here on the side of Alpha 7 and T7. They're picking Kimmy here for their mid laner, and their roamer is still out there for them to choose as well. Here on the side of Entity 7, we still need their marksman. It looks like they're taking out Carrie, making sure that they don't have that late game shred that she can provide for the team there. But there are still plenty of marksmen out there that they can choose from. Bruno is still out there. Yeah, so
I would not be surprised if I see a Granger here on Entity 7's position. But no, Moskov, yeah, just because I said it, but that's okay. Let's hear now the XP lane here, because I was thinking about like this Phoveus threatness all the time here when it comes to this composition. You know, like always stacking this demonic force here and like neutralizing or splitting up some players on this team fight. But now EU Song on Akashi's hand, and I believe it is somehow to respond this situation coming out from the XP laner here. So let's see what is Alpha 7 is going to bring as a final choice. Sumi, it's almost sure, it is 100% sure it's gonna be the roaming here. I'm still waiting. Okay, Entity 7 banned Hylos and Glue here for roaming. So what is left here if Alpha 7 decides to prioritize some hero with some kind of control? You know, like no Gato Chacha, no Hylos. So who is gonna be here on this roaming? Chip? Okay.
I like it. You've got a bit of control to dive deep into there. He's a lot tankier than he looks, especially because he can get in, get that stun, and be able to kind of shut down a lot of that objective pushing that you can try to do. He also provides, as we know, a lot of map control to get around and potentially here have the entire team. So that's going to make this early game a little shaky for the side of Entity 7, traversing the map on your own, trying to get back and forth from mid to those side lanes when you have to worry about a chip lurking in any of the bushes with that portal, and suddenly you have the whole of Alpha 7 at your heels.
Yeah, so you're totally right here, Previn, and especially like I believe that from Paquito here choosing this chip, especially to somehow avoid like Entity 7's aggressiveness all the time here, like especially when they guarantee a turtle or Lord, for example. So they continue chasing out, they continue like giving this pressure, dominating the map all the time. So with the portal presence here, might be like look some cautions coming out from Entity 7 to not to continue this aggressiveness all the time. But ladies and gentlemen, let's see what is going to happen here on the second game. Welcome to the Land of Dawn in this grand final of MCT AMER South. Let's go, Private.
Yeah, game 2 here. Entity 7 is up 1. You know that Alpha 7 is looking to reply in kind to that. Frostlane Eve immediately trying to put on the pressure already. Has a Shen down to about 50% now. That's going to be a Lethal Wanderer possibly going over, to the side of Alpha 7.
Yeah, so here in the first minute, so both teams are concerning on reaching this level as fast as they can. But now we're seeing the emblem stats once again. Imperial Rage on ZTN's hands as killing spree on Leomord here. Imperial Rage for Harriet and the bargain here. Like, okay, so Harriet is like concerning to get these items as fast as he can also, Private.
When I look at Alpha 7 right now, you take a look at their spells. 3 Purifies. When I see 3 Purifies now, and I'm looking at Kalea, I'm like, all right, what's plan B? Because it's going to be very hard for her to be able to lock on to anybody there who's going to have a bunch of those Purifies. We do have the Black Dragon. Oh, already, look at the damage going on to Paquito there. So I think we're also going to really have to lean on to this dragon, the Black Dragon coming out from Akashi for some of these engagements. Maybe we just kind of save that, save that Tsunami Slam in the back line for Hesu when he tries to dive. I don't know. We're going to have to see as this comes on. Hideon Bush going to go ahead and put some pressure onto the mid. Turtle is up.
Yeah, so now it is the time for the truth here. And the first turtle, like, immediately started by Entity 7, but here comes the boom.
Yeah, Paquito's going to go in there, going to go ahead and get a stun onto Vagian. Out comes the Phantom Steed. Is that going to be enough? Down. Look at the Flick in trouble here. Gets actually able to get the turtle, but gets taken out by Akashi. Now Hesu trying to chase down them, and look at the kills going on for both sides. 3 down for the side of Entity 7. Hesu so low, taken out by Akashi. That's going to be 3 for 3 right now, but the turtle eventually goes to Alpha 7.
Hesu was the hero here now, not only guaranteeing the first turtle for Alpha 7 in here, now I believe that was not him, but guaranteeing this double kill to save this situation, because at the beginning, like, things appear to be not so well for Alpha 7, but here come again.
Yeah, Hideon Bush in a little bit of trouble here, but the rest of the reinforcements come on the side of Entity 7. Shin able to find a kill onto Flick. That's going to be the jungler down for the side of Alpha 7, and that was a great engagement coming out from Alpha 7, but I feel like Entity 7 closed ranks so quickly, and that just speaks about the synergy that this team has when you have some of these invades coming into their jungle, that they're able to respond so quickly and be able to turn these engagements around.
Yeah, and especially when we talk about, like, Entity 7 knows how to punish these hesitations, you know, or hesitations or mistakes sometimes, because okay, you got the turtle, you got like double kill on Hesu's hand. Paquito, let's go.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and latch on it again. Hideon Bush can use that dash to get himself out of harm's way. Here comes Hesu from the backside with that demonic force. Out comes the Phantom Steed. Black Dragon is out, finds a Petrify onto 2 members on the backside. In comes the SOD. Doom finding himself a kill while Hesu replies in kind. Upatizi replies 2v2 right now, down for Entity 7 and Alpha 7. And both of these teams, if you didn't think they were evenly matched, those last 2 fights, how even they are, how the ability that they have to be able to reply so quickly.
Yeah, so eyes on Doom here, especially because it is the second spear of destruction that he hit on this team fight. So it is a strong weapon here coming out from Entity 7 to join this team fight. But so far, I believe that things could be worse for Entity 7. But now, one more turtle is started by both teams here. Let's go.
Ooh, Hesu onto the backside. Turtle down to about 10%. Is that going to be able to get scooped up? Out comes the Tsunami Slam. It allows Hideon Bush to get the retribution. Flick able to find the kill on the Vegan. Now Alpha 7 chasing down Entity 7. You got the turtle, but you lost 2 for it.
Yeah, so they got a turtle here, but lost 2 players in the process, and maybe the tower #1 here on the mid lane. Oh, Doom!
Oh, yeah, Doom coming in from the side, looking for blood. Flick running for the hills. Out comes the Black Dragon. Doom able to find himself another kill. 4-1-0 for the marksman of Entity 7.
I told you, Private. I told you. Eyes on Doom here, especially on this ultimate, because Doom is gonna be a Doom here for Alpha 7. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, latching on the Paquito, not able to find the damage that they need. But Shin on the side, oh, look at already. Down to about 25% for Paquito here. Entity 7, still, I want to say, pretty tied up a game here for both of these teams. And as far as the towers are concerned, I still remain untouched at the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, damage dealt ranking here comes by Shin, followed by Hesu so far. So the second game here being very tied up by both teams. The tower here in the mid lane, is, I believed and then I thought there was going to be for Alpha 7, but Doom, like with a very good ultimate, not only to stop this aggressiveness coming by from Alpha 7, but also to get a double kill here on for the goal later. So Doom here rushing these items, rushing this power spike for a Moskov, not only to join these team fights, but also to get in the split push. But on the top side here, 3v2.
Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and try to defend it, but the tower is actually taking a lot of damage. Doom very wary about trying to press himself up forward, and he does. Upatizi gonna come in. Zaman Force has been laid down. The trap has been set. Upatizi gets taken out by Hide on Bush.
Yeah, so one more bait here, and they don't stop Hesu. Oh, he was forced to use Flick here to survive. Okay, they lost the tower in the top here and the process, but still, like, Entity 7 trying to keep this aggressiveness all the time. One more total. One total for each team. And now this last one, which is gonna have and which is gonna guarantee this go so far, Private.
Yeah, I was going to say they had a perfect opportunity, especially with Hesu up at the top. You don't need to worry about the demonic forces, but I want to say Hide on Bush going to go ahead, clean up, get those orange buffs before anything. Paquito dives underneath the tower, gets caught. That might be it for Alpha 7 underneath the tower. Zaman Force has been laid down. Damage coming out there, almost too much for Alpha 7. A very greedy play. Thankfully, Alpha 7 able to find that escape. Now, starting to focus in on the turtle. Hide on Bush going to restart it. Frost Lane Eve battling it out with Shen. Shen might be in trouble here. Is able to find the tower to get himself back. Now, Paquito coming in here, and Flick able to scoop himself up a turtle. Abraser's Wrath comes down with the assistance of Doom here, laying down the damage for his team. A spear onto Paquito. Doom looking for the disengage. 3 members trying to chase down Shin and find the kill.
Yeah, so Doom here. Oh, Paquito so deep, but he brought the team.
Oh, Doom. I feel like Doom got baited into a fight there with Paquito. He saw him come in for the stun. He's like, I'm just going to spear you into the wall. And then the teleports came down, and it's like, I have made a horrible mistake, as the entirety of the team of Alpha 7 came in to scoop down onto Shin.
This is the MCT AMER South Grand Final, ladies and gentlemen. Entity 7 versus Alpha 7. A chaotic, a bloody game so far here. 11 kills for both teams. Oh my goodness. The second total was for Alpha 7 though, and they took the tower on the mid lane in the process. But I believe in the last team fight, I believe that Doom took some kind of hesitation, because he hit the Spear of Destruction. He joined the team fight and he brought the first kill. But after, like, I thought it was he was about to chase Shin on Kimi, because Shin was like heading upside on the river. But he stopped chasing Shin, and he decided to help the rest of the teammates on the team fight. But the rest of them was like in trouble. They were like killed, they were like taken down, and Doom was like still alone to trying to do something. He was baiting on the mid lane, so Alpha 7 took this opportunity to take Doom down. So now with the tower on the mid lane taken down by Alpha 7, they have some kind of advantage, especially on the goal lead now with a 2K for Alpha 7.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe he realized trying to chase Shen would put him in a bad way, especially with, it felt like Entity 7 was starting to pull back, starting to retreat, and that would create a lot of distance between Doom and the rest of his team that was kind of losing the fight. So then he decided to come back in. Unfortunately, I feel like he was kind of in between the Alpha 7 and Entity 7, so he had to kind of work through Alpha 7, and that resulted in him having to try to run away instead of put on the damage. Now gonna go ahead and start on this Lord down to about 50% here. Doing a great job is Alpha 7 trying to zone out. Again, looking for a way in. Now down to 10%. The demonic forces out. Black Dragon coming out with the fury of the Phoenix Flick. Still able to find the kill, but hide on Bush able to answer back immediately. 2 down for the side of Alpha 7. The Doom coming in to find the kill onto Paquito. Hesu able to clean up hide on Bush. 4 down. It's just Hesu alone. Are they gonna chase him down? Shen sure thinks he wants to. Oh, he decided against it. It's like, oh shoot, he turned around on me. Yeah, but Hesu's the only person here, and it is a Doom and Akashi now trying to spray down this Lord.
Yeah, Alpha 7 here got the Lord, but lost 4 players in the process, and useless Lord here so far because he was like taking down on in the mid lane. Okay, no, he's like 5% of the HP here, but now Begin is going to take down the rest of this Lord. To see how the game is very tied up between these two teams, but now as we saw on the goal lead here heading for Alpha 7 with like 2k, now the goal lead is even for both teams. Oh, Paquito, what are you doing there?
Yeah, he's deep there, but he has his teleporters out there, so he's not really afraid. Here come the teleports. The rest of the team from Alpha 7. He told me he was not afraid because he had the rest of the team right there. Back in goes down immediately. Hide on Bush and the rest of Entity 7 now going to go ahead try to clean up this purple buff before they get the heck out of a dodge. And that's why I said a great bait there from Paquito. He wasn't really worried. He wasn't running. He knew he still had those teleporters up to call the rest of Alpha 7.
Yeah, so Alpha 7 finding a way here to take down players on Entity 7 and still take the tower number 2 in the top side in the process. Damage down ranking once again here. Shin is still leading, still on the leadership, followed by Hesu and Flick. To see how tied up this game is so far, Entity 7 try to do something on the push here, but look at
Oh, yeah, they find Paquito again, but they need to be very careful. Here come the portals again. Out comes the Phantom Steed. Black Dragon is out looking for the damage. Zaman Force has been laid down. Doom clearing out the mid lane, but on the backside, Akashi gets caught. Vagin looking for the disengage, and Doom with a great push onto Hesu, who flickers away. That's a lot of abilities used out of somebody who is able to find himself and escape. Doom able to outplay Hesu there, and now finds himself a kill. Phantom Steed comes out as Flick pros on the damage onto Entity 7, now looking to claim their orange buff.
Yeah, so Doom here still survived. 2 players here down for Entity 7. Paquito was trying to, oh, look at Paquito here, like trying to fight someone here, but oh, Shin, very clever to face check on this bush here once again, and now using the visibility here to spot the rest of Alpha 7 players. And now the Lord heading on the downside of the river. 16 kills for both teams. Goal lead once again heading for Alpha 7 2k. But at one team fight here, it could all change once again.
Yeah, you can see about a 2k gold lead for the side of Flick here when it comes to the jungle. We still have not been able to find an answer for Hesu. Now add that to Paquito doing such a great job getting into enemy territory, baiting out a lot of skills and spells, only to have that answered with the teleport, and the rest of the team immediately comes in. So now you don't get the kill onto Paquito. Now you've wasted a lot of ultimates and spells onto him, and then you have to deal with the rest of the the team of Alpha 7 coming in. Speaking of which now, Lord down to 50%. Hesu looking for a way in. It's going to start using a demonic force on to hide on Bush. Black Dragon is out onto the back line. Upatizi able to find Begin. Frostlane Eve finds the Lord as Shin, able to find a kill on the Hesu. Hide on Bush finds the Paquito. 2 down for the side of Alpha 7. 3. Doom finds himself a double. That is a complete team wipe for Entity 7. And this might be the final push. 22 seconds left on the board. Tier 2 tower going down for the side of Alpha 7. Entity 7 trying to push as fast as they can. 3 little minions backing them up. The minions that could. Going into the core. They're going to juggle it out there. Game 2 going to Entity 7.
Entity 7 here with a chaotic, bloody game, but they guaranteed 2-0 in this grand final on MCT AMER South here, Zena.
What a match that was. That was what we're here for, right? To see this kind of battle going on here in the group final, right? But wow, they kept it pretty even there the whole time. It was a cool match to see, but they kind of got wiped there at the end and lost it. That was
I mean, when you're talking about a Doom, and this is exactly what Rico was saying, man. Watch out for Doom on there. When it came to especially that last fight there, having a great amount to come in there, find the kills that he needed to do as well. Not just that, and the thing too is that I feel like the Lord has been almost an afterthought for a lot of these teams. They go in, they get the Lord, and then they lose a fight, and that's something you have to be so careful about. I know there's the opportunity to get the Lord, but you have to understand, what am I giving up for it? Am I going in to get this Lord and then am I gonna die? Am I gonna cost my team something? Because I feel like this happened to both of these teams here. Something else that I've been noticing here too is I feel like these fights are getting more and more even. The last game that we had, Entity 7 and Alpha 7 kind of went toe to toe, and as per usual, the macro, the discipline from Entity 7 was starting to show through. More towers, more pushes, more gold. Here, it felt like Alpha 7 was able to hold their own in those toe-to-toes. Still, unfortunately, it takes one fight and Entity 7 was able to find that victory. But one thing we've seen from Alpha 7, their ability to adjust, their ability to kind of reconfigure themselves to find those holes, those little chinks in their armor, to be able to patch them up and come back even stronger in the next game.
Yeah, so this is what we expect here in this grand final on MCT AMER South. So as we're seeing here in the highlights, a very interesting early game here, especially from both teams. But we felt like Doom here hitting this ultimate in the first team fights, especially when it comes to assure this totals for Entity 7. Beside, like, even though Hesu like doing like this double kill with both views like working and stacking this demonic force, it was like a very good situation for Alpha 7. But it's still like when Doom hitting the ultimate here, like, and guarantee this presence on the team fight, it was like not much more than a presence, but it was still for like this the damage guaranteed by Moskov. Not only the damage, but the stun and so many backlines here that he was able to find our angle here when it comes to Moskov and his mobility here. So on the early and the mid game here, like Alpha 7 playing so well, especially in take this advantage. Obviously now in the mid lane now Doom here once again with the ultimate. Plus here Shin doing an amazing job with Zetian, especially with the Fear of the Phoenix here to spot the players from Alpha 7 before like a team fight, for example, or just to try to neutralize once again, as we saw here. So Doom, okay, now he tried to chase Shin, but he decided to come back here, and the rest of the teams were like, okay, we're in trouble, so Doom, please stay alive, survive on the mid lane here. So by the time, like, if we continue, okay, there continue, Paquito was chasing down and baited Doom once again. But at this point of the game here, like the things are so even for both teams at all. Like here at Alpha 7 guaranteeing the lore but losing players in the process, but still like Alpha 7 was on the game, especially when it comes to Hasu playing very well on this Foveos. Not like trying to get this angle and the backline, but buying time here for Entity 7, like to chase down, wipe out the rest of the teams and looking for towers on the map. And here I think that it was a disaster appeared for Alpha 7. Doom like free, causing this damage, stacking all the time here, like pew 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 pew. There's so many spears all the time here, so he was responsible for this wipeout. Followed by Shin with this Zetian here working on this range and the victory on Entity 7.
Alright, and we have no doubt who our MVP here is. No matter the situation, this player always found a way to come out on top. It was Doom on that Moskov. 10-2-7 KDA, 56.7k total damage, and 836 gold per minute. A wonderful play there and a wonderful game for Doom there.
Yeah, a great game for Doom. And I don't know if you noticed there. For me, I want to give a shout out to Vagin because when this first started and you saw those 3 purifies, my immediate thought was, what is plan B? Because Kalea's going to have a problem getting in line to those squishies. But when we watched some of those highlights, if you saw every single time that Flick tried to go in with the Phantom Steed, with the damage that he does on that Leomord, Flick was right there to grab him for a Tsunami Slam and drag him away from the fight. This almost always resulted in Vagin dying and getting taken out on the backside, but his job wasn't to get to the squishies, it was to stop Leomord from getting the retribution, trying to get him with the Tsunami Slam. Here, I mean, Doom, we saw throughout the entire game, always part of these fights. The maximum, I want to say, effort that you can get from a Moskov, taking full use of all of his abilities, especially that Spear of Destruction, making sure that every single fight he was a part of, he was in it. See right there, that was that little Tsunami Slam that came out to take Flick and pull him away from the Lord there. But yeah, Doom doing a great job. Even that one time, I think the fight you were talking about where Doom had himself a little bit of a problem, where he got separated from the team and decided, okay, I need to go back to the team. That's because before when he used the SOD in the fight before he came in, I think he went on to Paquito on the Chip, and Chip was able to distance himself with Doom in tow, and then he immediately dropped on the teleports, and it's like, oh damn, I've made a mistake here, guys. Let's talk about this. So the second time, I think there was maybe a little bit of PTSD when it came to chasing Frostlane Eve the same way. He was like, I've done this before. I'm gonna go back to the team, make sure I have a little bit of security to find my way out.
Yeah, honestly, I would not be surprised if the MVP goes to Shin, because especially with the number of assists, like I believe it was like 13 assists on this second game here. So Shin played very well on this game also, especially when it comes to the Fear of the Phoenix, to spot where the players of Alpha 7 are, and from that moment to like start the actions and the strategies coming by from Entity 7 on this team fight, especially around the objectives when it comes to the Lords also. But now we are heading for the third game here. The situation here is, here's the thing. 2-0 for Entity 7. We saw yesterday, like, there was 2-0 to Entity 7, and Alpha 7 came with a reverse sweep, right? But one thing, at least in my opinion, it is different from yesterday, because even though Entity 7's victory, Alpha 7 played very well. On the first game here, they were not like playing well. On the second game, they played a lot here versus Entity 7. It was like some details that would matter to get the victory for Entity 7. I believe now it is time for Alpha 7 to react on this game.
You guys were talking about Vagin. He did a wonderful job as a roam. He did get the 2 MVPs yesterday. His target was Flick, and he made sure that he was not able to get those lords, and he was just he had his goal, made sure that his team was able to do the damage, get in there, the major threat, and take that out. So wonderful play there by Entity 7 for sure. Their strategy and their coach and just all, they're well-rounded. They've always been, and that's what made them, you know, the best here in the South, one of the best. So seeing these two teams go at it, let's see if Alpha 7 can kind of figure it out and stop this reign that they got going here with the 2-game win streak right now. So far, they're gonna go ahead and ban out the Phoveus and the Boxia up first.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that what happens a lot when I see grand finals or like the pinnacle of two very, very strong teams fighting is that one team will figure out that one ingredient that needs to happen to be able to take on the other team, and it kind of gives the impression that the other team is failing or that they're throwing or something like that. Here, they said Alpha 7 is a strong team, and I don't think I've seen any other team able to come toe-to-toe with Entity 7 the way that Alpha 7 has, with the back and forth, and still be able to keep up the macro, keep up some of those objectives that we've been seeing here. It's just that, like we said before, especially for a team like Entity 7, that even when you are having the best game, throughout 90% of it, you're stomping them. What was the last score? I think it was like 12-4, and Entity 7 somehow able to find themselves a win through that game as well. And that's something that you always need to be worried about, even when you're in the lead. Now we're talking at a point where Alpha 7 has kind of lowered it to where you guys are on even ground. That's something that's even more dangerous for Entity 7 or for Alpha 7, because Entity 7 is so good even when they're on their back foot. And here you haven't even been able to threaten them as much just yet.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to like these bowl teams, like we were talking before this broadcast, and Private was asking telling and talking about like some histories that we were able to see coming up here between these two teams, and Zena was talking about Vagin and his brilliant performance on the second game, and I believe that I was looking up from some facts and some data here coming out from Vagin. Vagin is a very experienced player. Like he's been through the scenario through many years so far. Oh, okay. We'll talk about that later, because
I wanted you to go on with the history. I didn't want to react because I love hearing about the history.
No, that's okay. Because it has to, because on one side you have Zunshin from Alpha 7 and Fanny and I from Entity 7. Man, this is gonna be a lot of chaos here on this third game so far.
Yeah. They seem like to let Zushin out. I think they kind of know how to deal with her. Didn't they do that as well against DreamMax? They let Zushin out. Yeah, so I feel like it's their strategic play because they know how to deal with it, you know? So, yeah, she couldn't be a terror on that field, but they seem to have found that ingredient to kind of take her out.
I have a feeling. Go on, Private. Go on.
I was gonna say yes against DreamMax, and no disrespect against DreamMax. They were an underdog team who performed exceptionally well to get to that level, to get to the third place here. Last time we saw Alpha 7 and Entity 7 face, I feel like there was a lot more respect paid to the Zushin. She didn't make it through a single draft because these people understand what they can go with. What's up, Rico?
Ruby.
Yeah, it'll catch up.
Ruby is gonna be the last Benny here for Entity 7. Watch my words. Mark my words here. Ruby. We saw this on MCT AMER North Final. You know, where Fanny did not play a thing on the last game here. So, oh man, I think that is Ruby. Ruby's gonna be the last ban here.
Your team is banning.
Because Eldora, they can use Eldora here. Besides, Zunshin is already on the mid lane here, for example. So
ask my fists
your
first.
Team is
Well,
Cho.
Okay.
Cho is, yeah.
Okay.
And Cho makes more sense here too, because I feel like Ruby doesn't do. You can counter the Fanny, but you also kind of have to deal with that in your lane. that it really has not had a great showing as far. And not to say too, that was a very dominating game in Alpha 7 North, where the last game of the series they pulled out of Fanny, the enemy team pulled out of Fanny, and I feel like that was more of a desperation. Let me throw on my best. Like we saw yesterday from DreamMax, from King, who took out that lance, and he did exceptional on that lance. The team still lost, but that was still a great game that he played on his lance there, and I feel like that was more the mindset of just like, let me pull out my best for them. Bruno on the side of Entity 7. I'm just still shocked that we give up Zushin, and we have to be very, very confident about this draft, I guess.
No, I feel like Fanny can kind of like swoop in and kind of take her out, like, if anything. So maybe that was their kind of plan there, and it's smart of them to take out Cho, because that is a big counter for Fanny, kind of to take her out as well. So they went ahead and banned that. They picked up the Claude and Suyu here on Alpha 7. Bruno for the side of Entity. See what they're gonna do here.
Yeah, so analyzing here, like Zushin's for Alpha 7, and then Entity 7 coming up with the Fanny here, like with this mobility, using the cables like to reach this backline to at least like trying to neutralize this Zushin or Claude, for example. But Guinevere and Badang here for Alpha 7. Okay, first of all, Guinevere on roaming and Badang on XP lane, or because we used to see Badang and roaming also, right?
Yeah,
so
it could be, who knows what it could be. It could be either or, for sure.
Yeah, because I don't see Guinevere on the XP lane here, to be honest. You know, like maybe there's a possibility, but I don't see Hassel playing with the Guinevere here. But when it comes to, especially to get this initiation from Alpha 7, you have Badang here on Hasu on the XP lane, and Guinevere on Paquito. Okay, very nice. All right, let's go. Esmeralda from Akashi here on Entity 7's lineup.
That is just a whole lot of CC on the side of Alpha 7 right now. I'm kind of a little afraid. I know Fanny's pretty unpredictable and pretty slippery, but man, I think there's only Upatizi doesn't have like an entire kit build out of CC here, which might prove a little bit of a problem for Entity 7. It's definitely going to be a problem for people like Akashi or Vagin, who are going to have to be the front line here and take most of that CC from the side of Alpha 7. It's going to be a very interesting makeup here, and I'm very excited to see what Hide on Bush can do with this Fanny, especially against the composition that seems aimed to really take him down.
Yeah, so let's see what is going to happen here on game number 3 in this MCT AMER South Grand Final. Entity 7 versus Alpha 7. It is 2-0 for Entity 7. Now it is time for Alpha 7 to start a reaction here. So here we go, Private.
Yeah, very excited here. You can see both of these teams both of these junglers doing an even job when it comes to taking down their buffs here. We're going to see how this early game kind of develops, because the big thing for me is, as powerful as Fanny can be, there are a lot of boxes you need to check during objectives to have a successful game. You're really leaning on your team to get that vision so that they immediately sees Hesu gonna go ahead and die for him. But like, you're really leaning on your team to get that information to you so that you can go in when a jump comes out there and try to put the damage. Paquito has to flicker out. Hesu's gonna find a big push onto them.
Yeah, so here now Hide on Bush playing aggressively here to deny this farm to Alpha 7. So one thing that here at Alpha 7, I think that one of the situations that they can read is like, okay, they have a Fanny, so maybe we're trying to push some pressure or to trying to dominate somehow on the purple buff here to deny this win condition for Fanny, as we all know. Oh, here Doom versus Upatizi. Okay, so very interesting 1v1 here. It's Bruno versus Claude. Oh, we're gonna see here which is gonna have this advantage, but so far, Upatizi, at least with the Dexter hologram here to like gain this position, he might have some advantage on this early game.
Well, you can already see the laning down at the bottom really going in favor of Entity 7. Akashi having a great game on that Esmeralda. I'm not sure if he saw that flick went into that bush. So yeah, they're gonna have a 2v1 down at the bottom, but does look like Akashi really kind of pointing is able to kind of force them away. Paquito getting a little information from Entity 7 is gonna go ahead and retreat back to this turtle that's being started by Alpha 7.
Oh.
Big pop-up lands on the back end. Is that gonna be enough? You see that with Revitalizes out there, plus the cables coming out. The blazing duet on the backside. Hana and Bush is able to find the turtle, and Hesu able to find a kill onto Begin. Akashi able to take down the Alpha 7 jungler. Now the fight continues here. A big fist crack coming out, followed by the pop-up. Now looking for the escape underneath the towers. Oh, Akashi might be in a little bit of trouble. Frostlane Eve bravely able to find a slam onto him in that lift up, but no worse for wear. 1-1 and a turtle for the side of Entity 7.
Yeah, not only the turtle here, Private, but also so much gold energy on Doom on the gold lane, because Upatizi went to join the team fight here using the blazing duet to help the rest of the teammates, while Doom was like, okay, so much gold energy here for me. It's like so much a resource. And now the Has Claws here on Bruno's hand to cause this pressure here, to have this life steal situation to get more sustain on the gold lane. But once again here, from the last game that we saw, I talked about like to keep the eyes on Doom, and I believe that Akashi is going to have this protagonism here on this game number 3, because Esmeralda here, I believe that he's going to be very one of this resistance situation here. But not only that, but it's also to like handle things when these things get tough for Entity 7. And you know, Esmeralda here like absorbing this shield, doing one of his front lines here to secure some situations for Entity 7. It might be very interesting for them.
Yeah, you can see here a lot of pressure kind of mounting around mid. Evil Queller comes out, does catch Vagin, while Hide on Bush going to go ahead and work on this purple buff. 12 seconds till the next turtle here, right? You can see Akashi in a good position here. Hesu checking up on there, is not able to steal away that gold buff. Vagin taking some stacks from Frostlane Eve. Ooh, trying to get on the Shin, who's keeping just a great amount of distance on the side. Big fist crack underneath the tower. Hesu might be in trouble. Akashi finds the kill with the help of Hide on a Bush.
Yeah, so 2v1 here on the bottom lane, but now Hide on Bush heading on the back end so fastly here, heading on the turtle to secure and fight back this objective. Oh, here comes the jump.
Yeah, Violet Requiem comes out, followed up by the AOG coming out from the side of Entity 7. Real world manipulation slammed down, and a little bit of a pickup there onto Akashi, but Hide on Bush very clearly able to pick up the turtle without hesitation and without reply from Alpha 7.
Yeah, so here in the gold lane here, Doom forcing the blazing duet from Upatizi. It's gonna be, I believe it's gonna be tough for Alpha 7 here, Private, because as we saw in the last team fight, Paquito using the jump here to trying to this ultimate and trying to neutralize someone, but Paquito as a roaming here and a Guinevere, like the Requiem Violet with this control, it is very it's a very positive situation, but at the same time it's not that fast to neutralize a player. So by the time that Paquito was using the jump and the Requiem Violet, immediately came the real world manipulation from Shin, and the damage was like casting and punishing Paquito and the rest of the players from Alpha 7. So they have to pay attention about that situation. Oh, here comes.
Oh, and they keep missing Shin. They really are super thirsty for Shin, who's doing a great job of keeping that distance. Not just that, but we've talked over and over the last few weeks, when it comes to having a Guinevere on your team, there needs to be more than just the Violet Requiem to be able to do damage. Yes, it's a great control option. Yes, it does great damage in the early game. Ooh, big fist crack comes out, but Doom able to find his way out. But there needs to be a secondary source of damage from one of your teammates, and right now we don't really have a big source there. Hide on Bush able to find the tower. Now Doom putting on the damage. Hesu in trouble. Big pickup. Doom might be down. Frostlane able to find a kill there to pick up on the back end. On the backside, a big falling Star Moon. Hide on Bush looking underneath the tower, looking for the cutthroat. Is going to be able to to find a kill onto Paquito. Hesu now down at the hands of a Shin. Now the rest of Entity 7 looking for the escape.
And I'll tell you here, Private, it could be very worse. Oh, Frost Lanevi completely lost here versus 3 players. 1 more kill for Entity 7. And I'll tell you, Private, it could be worse for Alpha 7 if they haven't beaten a Doom here on the dive on the top side. So Doom was out, but still, like, Entity 7 was able to respond back this initiation. Now, 1 more total for Entity 7. The 3rd one for the team from Chile. The goal lead here, like, heading for more than 3k, and Paquito once again not hitting someone with the jump of Guinevere.
Yeah, and I feel like this composition from the side of Alpha 7, yes, you have a great amount of CC, but the damage, especially in the early game, just is not there. You have a Flick, I want to say, is probably the only real source of damage right now, and I think the only thing he has right now is a Sky Piercer. We're really waiting for Upatizi to come online, get those 3 items he needs. Meanwhile, Entity 7 just have a huge amount of damage that they can dish out there. Now, Frostlane Eve gonna have to back up. Paquito backing up from the side of Akashi and Vagin coming in. Shin and Hide on Bush looking for an angle to possibly find themselves a little bit of blood here. Now they're gonna go on to Paquito.
Paquito.
In comes the cutthroat from Hide on Bush.
Yeah, so Paquito was taken down here once again, and now here comes the 2nd tower on the top lane for Entity 7. Man, 1 more game here. Entity 7 has this advantage, playing so aggressive once again, and now with Fanny. Oh, here comes.
Yeah, AOG comes out onto the back lines, and Frostlane Eve looking for an escape. Hesu trying to fend them off with that fist crack. Flick able to find the kill on the Hide on Bush, but Doom able to find the tower. Flick finds himself a double. Shin in trouble, gets taken out by Upatizi. They do have an answer back. 4 down for the side of Entity 7. Akashi by himself trying to fight off and fend off the team of Alpha 7 eventually falls.
Here comes the maniac from Flick here of Alpha 7. A completely wipeout here on Entity 7. And now the Lord easily free for Alpha 7 to get back in the game, my friend Private. Everything is tied up once again.
Yeah, and I was just talking about how the only real source of damage is coming from Flick and eventually Upatizi. Flick eventually, I mean, with all of that CC, was finally able to get in a good position to get down Hide on Bush, and just 1 by 1 able to find the other members of Entity 7 with that immense damage coming out from that Tsuyo. Now has Entity 7 a little bit on the back foot, trying to fend off for this tier 2 tower. The whole of Alpha 7 trying to mount a lot of pressure there as Lord coming through the mid lane.
Yeah, so here comes the Lord. All right, I think that he's heading for the mid side, on the mid lane here now, on tower number 2. So here they come. Alpha 7 now has this advantage to try to at least take the high ground towers left for Entity 7. Here we go.
Oh, you see the split push being done right now by Hide on Bush. It has to be answered immediately. Flick gonna go in there trying to find the damage, and you see the cabling away is Hide on Bush. He might get caught there by Hesu, who is able to find the cables to get away. That good clear there for the side of Entity 7. Alpha 7 now pushing these towers. I think they're basically tied when it comes to the towers. You have all of the high grounds there, and just 1 more tier 2 on the side of Entity 7. Now coming in, Blazing Duet is out. Hide on Bush looking for a little bit of distance. Real world manipulation comes out. Akashi misses the falling star moon. Big AOG comes out there as well. Vagin gets caught, lifted up. The rest, Akashi and Shin on the backside, are forced to stare. In comes Flick with the kill onto Vagin. Purify comes out from Akashi, so he doesn't get lifted up, and Flick able to come in looking for the purple buff, but Hide on Bush was right there to be able to retry it down.
Akito was a monster now, because by the time that Vagin did the avatar of the Guardian, he made the jump. So by the time that Gato Chacha landed on the map, here comes right the jump here to neutralize Gato Chacha here, and it worked so well for Alpha 7. So one player down for Entity 7. Goal lead here. Okay, not so big for Alpha 7, but still, if you see in the map, it seems much more when it comes to this advantage. So Alpha 7 now has to control this pace, has to playing clever here to not to let any other chances for Entity 7 to get back in this game, especially with Hiram Bush playing on Funny to get more resources here, get more kills to secure another Lord.
Yeah, right now, basically a tie, a game for both. Towers just narrowly on the side of Alpha 7, who have the momentum at their side. A great positioning on the Lord as the rest of Entity 7 looks to possibly come in. Hide on Bush on the opposite side of the map, so that's going to go ahead and tell Alpha 7 to go ahead and try to push their advantage. Flick able to find himself this Lord, and an immediate disengage. The smart play coming out from Alpha 7 to get the objective. That's all they needed. They didn't need the kills. They do have the breathing room that comes with a Northern Lord push.
Yeah, and I believe that it comes to a point of the game that Fanny is I think that Fanny is not gonna do much here on this situation, because it comes to a map domination, it comes to this controlling sides here for Alpha 7, and especially when the most of the players are getting stronger, as we saw now the Blade of Despair on Alpha 7's jungler, but here comes, because Alpha 7 are causing this pressure.
Yeah, you're going to see the charge coming in from the Lord. Going to drop the high ground tower down to about mid. Hide on Bush actually took a decent amount of damage. Had to go back to base very quickly. Now, mounting down at the bottom, you can see some minions now coming in through mid, trying to make use of these high ground towers. Entity 7 still able to defend against that push.
Yeah, so Entity 7 here now, still with the high ground towers standing, but very injured, especially the mid and the top side ones. But even though Entity 7 is still in the game, besides this advantage on the goal lead here from Alpha 7, and we are heading for a point of the game which this goal lead is not gonna matter anymore, because of the players is gonna be on full build. But still, Alpha 7 dominating these sides, dominating these minion waves here, to controlling this vision, to controlling this information all the time here for Entity 7. It is very nice for Bakito to use the jump. Oh, it is very nice too. Oh, for us on even when Bagin. Oh.
Yeah, Bagin might be in a little bit of trouble. You can use the AOG, does latch onto one person. Hide on Bush! Able to find the jungler in the back lane, but Upatizi able to take down Shin. Hesu looking for the damage as Akashi, taking down 3 members of Alpha 7. Falling Star Moon falls on the 3 members. Hide on Bush looking to come in. He gets hit with the fist crack, put against the wall, while Bagin on the front end trying to fend off this push. Akashi comes in with the damage being pushed there. Frostlane Eve able to finally find the kill onto Bagin. Down goes Akashi. 3 down for the side of Entity 7. Alpha 7 with the momentum at their heels.
Yeah, so after a very hard team fight here, once again, Alpha 7 leading the advantage, taking down 3 players for Entity 7. When it all appeared here to be to be very bad for Alpha 7, they reverse that situation once again. And Hesu, what a monster, using the ultimate here to neutralize this Entity 7's chasing down of the rest of the players. Frost and Evo was neutralized very fast on the back line here, but still Alpha 7 having the peace and the calm and the resilience here to manage and taking the players out on Entity 7. Now the Lord once again secured by Alpha 7. They have to try to finish this game now.
Man, what happens to Entity 7 at game 3? Every single time they have struggled, even at the dominance in the first 2 games. Hide on Bush on the side as Alpha 7 and Entity 7 clash. Real world manipulation is down. Begin finds a kill on the Frost Lane. Eve. Now Doom finds one onto Hesu. 2 down for the side of Alpha 7, who are now looking to disengage. Paquito on the run, being chased by Akashi and the rest of the team. Doom putting the boots down onto Alpha 7 now. Entity 7 gonna have to answer this Lord. Evil Queller comes out from Flick. Paquito finds a recall back to base. 3 members here to defend this base as they focus down on the tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, Hide on Bush gonna take the minions up at the bottom lane. Ooh, going in. Paquito trying to find himself a pop-up, does not get it. Minions are down. Doom able to find a kill onto Paquito, taking down the minions as Shin lays down some damage for the rest of the team.
Alpha 7, you got the Lord. Okay, you were like you were going to the jungle, you were going to enemy jungle to get this information, to get this vision. Okay, but why heading from the purple buff here, like to have this aggressiveness here on this game? And now you lead like Entity 7 to get back in this game once again. At least they didn't lose the high ground tower here on the mid lane. It is like a very good point for Alpha 7, but still now Entity 7 taking a chance and opportunity to this confidence to once again play an aggressive. Oh, Flick on the bottom lane, but okay, Upatizi devolved, like he returned the damage so well here on Flick.
Yeah, and you see now minions. This whole game right now, I feel like this is going to be a game of macro. Can we get the pressure of these lanes pushing into the towers while also having a fight? Right now, Hide on Bush is like the sole split pusher for the side of Entity 7. His whole job is to try to clear out those lanes and then get back to the fight. The only problem is when it comes to these Lord engagements, Hide on Bush can choose one thing: get to the Lord or be able to clear out these side lanes. He has not been able to do both just yet because Alpha 7 has been doing such a great job of finding these pushes, of being able to take down these objectives so quickly.
Yeah, but now here comes once again here Alpha 7 Flick. Oh, they have to take care here from Entity 7's initiation. Okay, I believe that Alpha 7, there was one more thing that Alpha 7 has to like keep an eye on, especially when there's Entity 7's condition on team fight, because when it comes to Esmeralda ultimate, for example, and the real world manipulation, to call this like this a little slow down here, like it takes the chance for Entity 7 to start a team fight, especially with the avatar of the Guardian on Vagin. So Vagin here had this ultimate like working in a positive way for Entity 7. It might like turning point for Entity 7 here versus Alpha 7. Now here one more Lord, both teams with the 5 players. It's gonna be more than a macro. It's gonna be a chess play here from these 2 teams, because it might be the last Lord here for both teams to finish this game.
Yeah, especially I want to say they're looking out for Frostlane Eve on the side of Entity 7. They really want to be able to get that down. This all relies on them being able to protect Frostlane Eve and Flick, the jungler, for this fight, to make sure that they can continually have that suppressing power when it comes to a lot of these fights. Now Akashi again in the front side, Doom sitting there lying in wait. If Alpha 7 has a target, it should be Doom to be able to take him down. 50% now down on the Lord. Entity 7 trying to push their way forward as well. Paquito from the backside, down comes the real world manipulation. Avatar the Guardian misses onto 3 members, and now Akashi getting pushed by that fist crack. Vagin using that revitalize as Hide on Bush finds himself a Lord. The fight begins. Alpha 7 clashing into Entity 7. Shin gets taken out by Flick. Doom down as well. Upatizi able to find it. Flick finds a kill of his own. 2 more left on the side of Entity 7, running for the hills. Akashi trying to drag out this fight as long as possible. The Lord is still on the side of Entity 7, but the numbers are in favor of Alpha 7, who find themselves a complete team wipe, and they will not go down in a clean sweep due to Entity 7 and find themselves their first victory of the series.
Alpha 7 coming from the ashes like a phoenix to win the game number 3. We have a best of 7. We have a final here, Zena.
Now, yes, this is a final here. That mid-game wipe on Entity 7 had Alpha 7 able to kind of like get back on the map here, and they were able to give that pressure and kind of fight back. And then Upatizi getting his power spike, it was amazing to watch it all go down here. This is what I love about ML, the fact that, you know, it could be anybody's game and it could turn things around just like that.
Yeah, a great game for Alpha 7 to withstand the early pressure coming on from Entity 7 here. So take a look there. Frostlane, Eve 2 and 10. Upatizi with 5, 0, and 9. A great job by Alpha 7 to kind of elongate that early game. Give Upatizi the chance he needed to. Sitting here, even with all the deaths happening on the side of Alpha 7, Upatizi always remaining calm. 5, 0, and 9 for him to really be able to put on the damage on the side of Entity 7.
Yeah, so very tight up here. Third game is still heading for Alpha 7, especially with this resilience coming out from these players. Flake playing very well here on Suyo and Upatizi with Claude. Even though like with so much pressure on the goal lane here caused by Doom and Bruno, so Patizi was able to like, okay, we have to calm down and wait for the right moment. And the right moment came by the time that Entity 7 like were too deep on the mid lane and lost all the players in I would say that so unusual coming out from Entity 7, but in a time that they were not disciplined here on the mid lane, losing all the players in the process. But by the time like at this point of the game, like Entity 7 and Alpha 7 like playing very tight on the goal lane here. We're seeing like, especially when it comes to Flake, like using a Fanny very nicely on the early game, especially like neutralizing on the XP lane. But still, I don't believe it was that. I think that it was that moment that Entity 7 like were too deep and lost all the players in the process. I'm not sure, but Alpha 7 was like still waiting for the right moment. I believe it was that in that moment here. So Entity 7 like Alpha 7 was still with the tower number 1 in the mid lane, and Entity 7 was like making a dive on the tower number 2. I didn't get it, to be honest here, but still like Alpha 7 has nothing to do with that. They got a wipeout. They went through it. They trying to dominating this pace so far, and then they came that like cursed team fight on the purple buff after securing the Lord for Alpha 7. So they went to the purple buff. Entity 7 responded so well, like guarantee I believe it was like 4 players for Alpha 7, heading back the game for Entity 7 once again. After that, I believe it was like a chess move here coming out from both teams, especially on the Lord, and Upatizi working so well on the position situation here to avoid this damage coming out from Sheen and Doom, for example, and also causing this damage with the Blazing Duet, waiting for the right time from this games here. So we hear the last Lord here, so I believe that Item Bush, I believe that was the purpose was not to getting this Lord on reset here, which gave Alpha 7 the chance to respond so well here. Besides that, Entity 7 getting this Lord, but Alpha 7 and Hasu once again with the ultimate here, like to stand and taunt 2 players on Entity 7. It was really good for Alpha 7 here, and getting not only the team fight here, but also the victory in this game number 3.
Yes, and when the game was on the line, this player delivered in a spectacular fashion. Our MVP here, Upatizi, getting that power spike, 509 KDA, 82.7k total damage, 769 gold per minute. An amazing play at the end of the game. He had the comeback.
I want to say too, when it comes to this team, I mean, we're probably not going to see a highlight from the first 50% of the game, because I feel like Upatizi put his head down, hunkered down, and understood, I need to farm. I need to get these 3 items. I just don't pay attention to what's going on with the rest of the team, understand where my power spike comes in, and then he can start taking part in a lot of these fights. And they did such a great job of kind of holding off that from the beginning, taking advantage of a lot of the mistakes that I want to say the few mistakes that Entity made, especially like you were talking about, diving underneath a tier 2 tower while tier 1 is still up. Man, that I'm gonna tell you, there's some confidence that you have to do that to a team, and I want to say Alpha 7 punished them for it, able to give Upatizi enough time to really start coming online, get all the items that he needed. Not just that, but in the chaos of the matches, I wonder if we're gonna see the one I'm thinking of, where he goes into the Lord Pit, deep into the Lord Pit. Yeah, here he goes into the Lord Pit, then finds Doom and is able to chase down Doom onto the backside.
Oh yeah, so Upatizi here like working so well on this Blazing Duet, and this mobility here with the Dex hologram to neutralize the carry once from Entity 7 and guaranteeing the victory on the game number 3 here for Alpha 7. We have a best of 7 here. Okay, Entity 7 is still strong, but Alpha 7 make them bleed once again.
Hey, it could be anyone's game now with the global bans happening. You know, there's gonna be less of the hero pool here, and it still could be anyone's game. We're only like 3 games in right now, and there's still someone needs to win like probably 2 more here if they were to try to win Entity 7, or it can be Alpha 7's game. Like, you never know.
It's interesting to note too as well. Yesterday, this is exactly where Alpha 7 was able to turn it around on to Entity 7 after the second game. It felt like on the third game, they were able to come together, understand what they needed to do to be able to push this and take it to Entity 7 now. So I feel like the ball is in Entity 7's court right now. Are you going to be able to adjust as well, or is this wash? Is this momentum that comes from Alpha 7 usually at game 3? Is that going to be too much for them to withstand? I mean, they have plenty of time to figure it out. We have a best of 7 here as well, so we'll just see how well it kind of comes in there. Right now, going back into our game 4 draft.
Yeah, looking at so many gray heroes here, like banned on the global ban. So which one is supposed to be banned here on the game number 5? So far, number 4. Sorry.
Game number 4.
I'm too early. I'm really excited. But Alpha 7 heading for Herrick here at the first ban, like focusing on this goal lane on Doom so far. So let's see.
Protection from the
Box, yeah, okay, that's very good. I believe that Alpha 7 now is banning Zunshin here to avoid from Entity 7, because even though like I think that now they have this like this confidence and this powerful to turn even this series here to go on 2-on-2.
Yes, for sure. They're gonna go ahead and ban out here and Box. Yeah. I guess they still have that Zusha. Yeah, there, never mind. They're gonna ban that out. They knew how much of a terror she could be. Like, even though people think they haven't figured out that it's not true, because she can be a menace for sure with her CC. They're gonna ban out Freya as well here on the side of Entity 7.
I feel like if it, yesterday when we talked about it, Zushin was banned the entire time. I feel like here, Entity 7 maybe it's kind of sacrifice giving up that Zushin pickup, at least so that now they can have a little bit of breathing room. Something that we don't have to ban it anymore. We don't have to worry about it. It's out there. We lost to it. Let's pick it back up, boys. Now we have a free slot that we can use for our bans and not have to worry about that pickup there here. I want to say, like, yeah, big magic users being banned out by the side of Alpha 7 here, and I'm kind of wondering where we go from here. Still have some options, Phoveus and Marcel being some big ones for the, I want to say both of the teams. Phoveus,
no, only for Entity 7.
Used yet?
Yeah, Alpha 7 used Phoveus. Yes. I believe it was in the first game. So it opens an opportunity here for Entity 7 to guarantee in this 1-2 choice for them. But now we're seeing Alpha 7 is has this first choice here. Oh man, Suyo is open for Alpha 7. No, it's not open. It's already been used. Boxed is banned. No Marcel. Who's left?
Harley,
Oh my
yes.
god.
Right now, on the
Harley,
side
I
of
want to say
NCT 7, they
Harley's
can
probably
pick
the
up.
next best option.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
Carry,
gonna say
okay.
Carry was open because they kind of used a lot of their marksmen out there, so Carry would be the top priority pick. But also Harley's still open as well for them to use. Phobius on the side of NCT 7 that they can pick up. They went ahead and picked up the Harley there. So there's still a lot of options here left for them to choose from.
Now I'm kind of wondering what you pair it with. Do we potentially find ourselves at Phobius, maybe, especially with a carry, or is it a little bit too early on our side to pick up the Phobius? We can still kind of wait. We don't have to worry about Alpha 7 being able to pick it up, but we do have to worry about potentially a Uranus coming out from the side. Oh, there's the Phobius. You have the option of a Uranus coming out from the side of Alpha 7 too as well. I'm actually kind of curious as to how he does against the Phobius. I imagine he can get a pretty decent amount of stacks up there, but you really want the Uranus to kind of be that barrier in between your line and the Harley, coming out with some of that deadly magic and the stacks that can come out of it as well.
Yeah, it might be a possibility here for Alpha 7, but now they're thinking on the response here on Flick and Frostland over here with more two heroes. Maybe I believe they're trying to working on this Kalia and Fredrin. Also, very strong one here, like Paquito playing with Kalia, like having this aggressiveness once again, like trying to use this slam here to isolate one player, for example, or plus the Precious Rapid could be a very interesting combo when it comes to Alpha 7's composition so far. So let's see what is Entity 7's about to bring for us.
Yeah, I feel like Alpha 7 could pick up the Lunix to kind of like help with Harley, trying to get that mid lane there for them. We are waiting to see now what Entity 7 will pick up. The Valier, they're gonna push Kalia away and Fredrin. Okay.
This land is our
Well, I mean, you basically come with your own Purify on Valier with that Vengeance Flame, so you'll be able to get away from that. And I want to say too, Kalia was banned out twice by Entity 7 earlier than this, so apparently they do know the danger of giving Paquito that Kalia as well. So it's going to be something here very hard for Entity 7 to possibly get over. Now going into the second banning phase, Lapu Lapu taken off of the board on the side of Entity 7, and I'm kind of looking, what else are we needing? I think we're looking for a roam and a marksman on the side of Entity 7, and I want to say an XP laner and a mid for the side of Alpha 7.
Yeah, so here like from the Entity 7 side, and no Claude, no Bruno here, no Moskov to work on this gold lane. So which one is gonna it's gonna be appear here now? Focusing on XP lane here, Yuzong and Lapu coming out from Entity 7. Glue, it is the Alpha 7 choice, and now is the last ban for them. Maybe to still continue on this XP laner focus. No Yusong, yeah, no Yusong anymore. So maybe trying to focus this Uranus, for example, or maybe looking for a roamer here to take down maybe a Hylos, for example. Yeah, so Hylos, I think there was a idea trying to avoid some kind of control, especially when Kalia trying to use the slam, trying to use to get this flank or back line. So it was a good ban here for Alpha 7.
Yeah, for sure. Now they're just making sure that they're being more choosy with their picks here and being picky, making sure that they can have something. Triza can be chosen here as well, but I don't know how well he would be doing in this situation. You said they're gonna need that marksman now. What will they be able to choose on the side of
Alice?
No, not
maybe. For Akashi?
On the side of Entity 7?
Yeah.
I just hope it's not a 1-1.
Granger.
I mean,
Yeah, it's Granger.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I adore Granger. He's probably the first hero that I one-tricked when I started playing Mobile Legends to get to Mythic. However, man, he has gone through some transitions, and right now I feel like there's a lot lacking in the damage that he can provide out there, especially if he's doing anything but dominating in his lane right now. I feel like he does very well against the carry, so I'm expecting to see some pressure coming from Alpha 7 to try to hold Granger back. But like I said, if he's doing anything but dominating in his lane, I feel like the damage can lack, especially with a lot of what I've been seeing builds on Granger too. I've been seeing like Sea Halberd builds on him, things that don't really specialize with the poke that he can do. Oh my God, Paquito! We saw this yesterday. The Paquito coming out from Alpha 7, I believe it was on Hesu, and he absolutely ran through Entity 7. Oh, I like the Akai pickup here though to really offset a lot of things. So even if we can't get the stun with like a Zeshian when that Tsunami Slam comes out, Akai can just instantly barrel through the competition.
Yeah, have been here, all coming out from Vagin on the Romy here versus Paquito. I believe that Entity 7 was just like trying to work on this poke situation here on this range, especially when it comes to Sheen and Doom and Hydon Bush, trying to avoid this proximity here from Hesu, Flake, and Paquito with a Kalia. But it's still like for a Doom here with the Granger versus Carry, and I believe like especially on the late game here, Carry having this ability and having this advantage, especially to melt down the tanky heroes coming out from Entity 7. So it's gonna be very tough for both teams. I believe especially for Entity 7 on and Doom here on Granger. But let's see what is going to happen here, Private, because once again, welcome to the Land of Dawn. This is the grand final of MCT AMER South. Entity 7 versus Alpha 7. Here we go.
Entity 7 has an opportunity to take this to game point while Alpha 7 are looking to tie up the series. Which one will prevail? We are about to find out here as we start things off. Entity 7 already with the aggression, starting with the invade. Flick sees it as you want to engage in here. Gonna go in. I'm not even sure who got that Begin, taking a lot of damage. An early flicker coming out from Entity 7 on Begin there, now fighting over this Litho Wanderer, and I'm not even sure. It looks like Flick was able to successfully get it.
Yeah, Entity 7 here like trying to play an aggressive, but now here forcing. Oops!
Oh, what a nice little opportunity there for Paquito. Comes in to get the jump, but Vagin was right there waiting. Hesu might be in a little bit of trouble there. Gets the shielding from his punch there as Akashi has to turn tail.
Yeah, both teams here like in a turbo mode, forcing the flaker from the both sides here Begin and Sheen using the flake, while Upatizi and Paquito from Alpha 7's side here. So the first minute, almost heading to the second one here, are both teams like not only trying to reach level 4 as faster as they can, but like using their abilities to force the spells before the first turtle. So let's see what is going to happen on this situation so far.
Yeah, you want to say Doom here. Both marksmen kind of evenly matched here. Upatizi being very careful about his spacing around, trying to use the minions as a shield, but Doom doing a good job keeping a lot of those minions on his side. Now he's going to go ahead and try to join his team at the turtle fight here, being pulled out by both teams. Entity 7 getting backed up a bit. Hesu from the side there. Again, going to get that information there. Doom, ooh, takes a lot of damage. He's going to have to get underneath the tower, but Hesu chases him, able to find himself a kill there as well. That's going to be the marksman down for the side of Alpha, or for the side of Entity 7. Now Begin going to come in here. Big pop-up comes with the fury of the Phoenix. Stuns coming out as Paquito goes down. Next is Vagin. 2 roams exchanged for a roam as the turtle gets reset for the side of Alpha 7. Still trying to do the best they can to zone out as Flick picks up that turtle with a retribution. Are we still looking for a fight? Look, Shin backs up very wisely, but is going to have to recall back to base.
Yeah, so Alpha 7 here getting the first turtle and plus the kills. One for Flick and one for Hasu. And this, like, is not a very good way up in the top side.
Yeah, Doom in trouble, gets ganked. Paquito doing such a great job with the Kalea, getting around as quickly as possible. Hide on Bush. Do they notice that the Paquito is right there? He's going to have to look for an escape. They look for the chase, but immediately find a disengage. 3-1 right now in favor of Alpha 7.
Yeah, and one thing here that we have to consider is like Harley's situation here, because we know that when Harley like starts behind, it's not so good for it. It's not so good for him to cause dispersion, to impact on the game for Entity 7. So losing the first turtle here, not getting this assists or getting the kills on this early game might be a problem for Entity 7 and Hide on Bush here on Harley on the jungler.
Yeah, and yeah, when you hold them back, I mean, you're constantly behind when it comes to damage, so it's going to be a real issue when it comes out, especially with all these different options that we have for Alpha 7. The damage coming out from Hasu, you've got a great tanking ability from Flick, Frostlane, Eve, with a world of CC coming out there. We do see Hunter Strike being picked up for Doom as pressure begins to mount at this mid lane.
Yeah, so here now 4 minutes and 38 seconds, almost 5 minutes, and now the second turtle heading on the top side of the river. Oh, Haidombish trying to steal the golden, but oh, here comes Flick. 2v1, but okay. It's just to say hi.
Yeah, and you have Flick down at the bottom of the map, and that's going to go ahead and leave a little bit of an opportunity for Entity 7 to go ahead and start on this turtle. You see Flick trying very quickly to get to the turtle to try to close the distance there. Oh. Doom finds a kill onto Upatizi up at the top lane. Akashi duking it out with Hesu. They're going to go ahead and clear him out and find themselves a decent amount of room to start up this next turtle. Doom! Oh, he gets hit. A Tsunami Slam, but with the Purify, Doom able to get out of it. Back in, finds a kill on the Hesu. Hide on Bush, able to take down the turtle as the rest of Entity 7 chasing down and pushing back Alpha 7.
That is the Purify situation here, at least for Entity 7's in favor. Doom taking down here on taking the kill. Plus the tower on the mid lane for Entity 7. Besides, like, they lost the first turtle, they got the second one. Now the tower on the mid lane and the top side here, a very interesting situation for Entity 7.
Yeah, and I want to say the domination in the top lane right now. A great job by Doom to be able to find that kill onto Upatizi. That was basically a 1v1 there. And Doom able to bait out the Tsunami Slam, Purify out of that, which gave them a tower and the turtle buff as well. The rest of Entity 7 now looking to possibly get a flank onto this bottom tower as well. Sky Piercer now picked up for Doom.
Yeah, now here Entity 7 working on this macro, taking down the tower on the bottom side, but Hesu is responding on the top side here, taking the tower, the first one. But even though like Entity 7 working on this map domination here, like taking the first line of towers, and it is very interesting for them because it gives Entity 7 here like the opportunity and the chance to hide on Bush. Like, oops, here comes Paquito.
Yeah, look at the damage going on to Paquito, looking to try to run away. Doom able to spray him down. Now, in the midst of it, Hesu ends up getting taken out. And the damage fury of the Phoenix to try to find the stun to turn this around. Upatizi finds a kill onto Akashi, but Idon Bush able to reply quickly. Now, trying to chase down Upatizi while the rest of the team. Idon Bush finds a kill on the Frostlane Eve while the team here tries to dismantle this tier 2 tower.
I was wondering here, Entity 7 would not stop this pressure here on the mid lane. I thought it was like chasing down player by player for Alpha 7. 3 players down here for Alpha 7. Now, the last turtle apparently heading for Entity 7, but here comes.
Oh, Upatizi does find himself a Tsunami Slam, but it's not enough. I think he gets purified out again. Ooh, look on the backside. They find Hesu. Akashi knows he's got the smell of blood on there. Hesu tries to go in, tries to find the damage as Akashi finds the damage. A heavy spin is out. Again goes down to Upatizi. The Lord Turtle still kill taken by Hide on Bush. Doom able to find himself a kill onto the enemy jungler as the rest of the team battling it out. Akashe finds a kill on the Frostlane Eve. Upatizi finds a kill onto Doom. Shin able to take down Upatizi, and we have a complete team wipe on Alpha 7 side.
A wipeout here for Entity 7 once, not once again, but letting the turtle here, the last one for Entity 7. I believe that at least this team fight here was like determined by some details, especially like leading Doom in a good position here, like comfortable for Doom, like causing this damage. Alpha 7 has to do something about that. Okay, like Paquito, like having this good intention maybe to try to use this slam, but even not even though, but while Doom, and yes, only Doom here with the Purify, while Doom having this Purify, is gonna be very tough for Paquito to find this way here to neutralize the gold lane from Entity 7. So they have to find a way, especially with, like, it can be with Hasu, for example, using Paquito with this dashes and to short out the distance. But they have to do something beside Doom here to neutralize not only the gold laner here to start, and the rest of the teams for Entity 7.
I think you're exactly right too. The Tsunami Slam right now is being countered by the fact that the only real target is Doom, who has a Purify and has been saving that Purify for the Tsunami Slam during these opportunities. You could try to go for the Valir, you could try to go for Shen. Ooh, big pop up there. So out comes the Tsunami Slam, followed up by the Fury of the Phoenix. Big heavy spin coming out from the side of Vagin, who gets taken out by Upatizi. Now getting chased down. Entity 7 looking to turn it around. The Demonic Force slamming down as Doom finds a kill onto Flick. The rest of Alpha 7 trying to turn us around the backside. Hesu able to find the kill onto Hide on Bush. Back and forth. Doom able to find a kill onto Hesu. A double kill right now. A triple for Doom.
Hesu here trying to save the day for Alpha 7, but still Entity 7 taking down 4 players or Alpha 7 here. My goodness, another close team fight between these two teams. But once again, I think that Paquito using into the Slam on Hide on Bush. Not Hide on Bush, I'm sorry, with Vagin here, with Akai. Akai bought so much time using the half spin here. It was really good, but oh, here comes Flick, the Lord here we go.
Yeah, Doom trying to go ahead and zone him out while Hide on Bush gets it and closes the distance here. Tsunami Slam lands on to the backside. Oh, big heavy spin comes out. The Fury of the Phoenix to find the stuns onto Entity 7. Hesu able to find a kill onto Akashi. Shin returns the favor onto Paquito. 1 for 1 right now as the rest of Alpha 7 disengages from the Lord. But Hesu lying in wait, looking for an opportunity. But I want to say Entity 7 feel like they don't like this opportunity. They're going to go ahead and back away from the Lord as Hide on Bush goes to the top lane.
Yeah, like Entity 7 here has some spider sense when it comes to this dangerous situation, but has to now heading back on the base, leading the chance here for Entity 7 to guarantee this Lord. But I believe that Alpha 7 is heading here to fight back this goal.
Ooh. Yeah, you can see them all kind of stacked up here while Doom and the rest of Entity 7 now. Now you can see Doom with those shots coming out, those Death Sonatas. Is it going to be enough? Trying to keep zoning out the rest of Alpha 7. They pull out the Lord down to 50% now. Lord has been reset. Look at Hesu on the backside, looking for an angle in. He wants to find the flank inside of here. Oh, Hide on Bush might be a little too close. Hesu on the backside. Paquito goes in, finds a Tsunami Slam. Heavy spin comes out as well. Fury of the Phoenix Flick able to find himself a Lord. Upatizi finds himself a kill while Hide on Bush returns the favor. Doom finds himself a kill onto Paquito, and now the rest of Alpha 7 looking for the disengagement. Entity 7 find themselves 2 kills, but they have to answer the Lord that will be coming out shortly. Upatizi trying to protect this tower. Now the rest of the reinforcements from Alpha 7 while Entity Entity 7 now looking for the disengagement.
Yeah, so the Lord here was for Alpha 7 in the last team fight, but they lost 2 players in the process. But now here Alpha 7 trying to chase the rest of the players here on Entity 7. Meanwhile, like Shin was like clean away from the minions on the mid lane here to delay this minion waves heading for Alpha 7, which turned this Lord here like almost useful for Alpha 7. I think that at least given a tackle here on the tower number 2. No, oh, not even a tackle here. So okay, so useless Lord here for Alpha 7. At least not useless, but always to buy more time for a carry here in this late game that she can carry.
Yeah, I want to say right now what's been happening is I feel like the Tsunami Slams, they continue to go on to Vegan, who immediately activates that heavy spin, and then followed up by the Fury of the Phoenix coming out from Alpha 7. Really creates all this chaos on there. Speaking of which, here comes Paquito, another Tsunami Slam comes out there, but I want to say it was countered out there by the Vengeance Flame of Shin. And this is what I was talking about, the limited targets that you have on the side of Alpha 7 to be able to take down somebody on Entity 7, Paquito. I mean, the only real targets he has is Vegan, who he's been trying, but there, I mean, you're not really going to be able to burst down a Kai, especially when he has a heavy spin up as well. Ooh, hide on bush. Little close to the action here by himself. Alpha 7 now creeping around the map.
Yeah, so here are the items once again. Wings of Nature here for Doom, Malefic Roy, Sky Pierce, Hunter Strike here, and I'm leaning for the last item on Granger. Malefic again here for carry, so 4 items here for Upatizi, which can be very good for Alpha 7. But once again, as you were talking in private, which makes total sense. Paquito here, okay, target from Entity 7. Vagin immediately using the heavy spinning here by the time that he used its Tsunami Slam. Shin using the Flame of Vengeance here. Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, another heavy spin coming out from the side of Again. All these targets, you just cannot find it. Alpha 7 is trying so hard to find the setting potential on the side of Entity 7, but all of the targets have some type of ability, which just speaks so immensely about the drafting ability coming out. Big pop-up tried by the side of Paquito, though.
Yeah, so here now another Lord on the downside of the river. I believe this is gonna be the second or the third one here, so both teams are dancing around this very important goal. This is MCT AMER South Grand Final. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Oops. Okay.
Oh, Doom almost got caught there by Hesu, who's lying in wait, looking for the flank here. So they're going to find...
once again.
Yeah, Hesu is just really kind of looking for an opportunity to kind of get into here to try to get that flank to possibly find Doom. Ooh, they all turn away from there, immediately go to the mid. You see, that kind of freaks out Hesu, is like, has to back up. Now they know that Hesu is separated from them. They're going to try to chase him down. They're not going to be able to find him. They push him away, and now they're going to use that as an opportunity to go ahead and focus back onto this Lord. Doom inside the L bush now, just spraying and praying on the backside, continuing with those long distance shots. You see those Death Sonatas going out there again with the heavy spin, countered by the Fury of the Phoenix. Is that going to be enough? Upatizi able to find a kill onto Vagin. Lord down to 30%. Still, Akashe in trouble, gets taken down by Upatizi. A double as Hesu finds a kill on the Shin. Flick finds himself a Lord. It's just a Doom and hide on bush. Ooh, were they able to see the Granger? Oh, Hesu sees it. He smells him in the bush. He's looking for the kill. Doom might not be long for this world and gets taken out by Hesu. And now it's just hide on bush alone here to try to defend. A Lord at top and the rest of Alpha 7 at the bottom. Can Alpha 7 close this up? Hide on bush senses the danger. He's going to go ahead, return back to base to see if he can try to take out these minions, but it might be too much. Has hide on bush. Oh, we also have the heavy spin out. Vagin going to go ahead and try to push them away. Is that going to be enough? Entity 7 live to fight another day.
That was so close for Alpha 7 here to finish this game number 4 here to turn things even up. But once again, Vagin like getting this respawn. Oh, here comes now Alpha 7. Here comes the Lord.
Yeah, big charge coming in to put the pressure onto the tower. You can see the suppressive fire coming out from Doom. Death Sonatas for everybody on the side of Alpha 7. Now possibly trying to save in their tier 2 tower at mid, but the bottom of the bottom lane has been broken open wide for the side of Entity 7, which means you're going to have strong minions down there, which means macro has to be on your mind if you are Entity 7, and a time limit basically instilled on your team for a lot of these engagements before you have the possibility of minions charging through your base.
Yeah, so we used to see like most of the times Alpha 7 trying to initiate those team fights here, especially with Paquito using Tsunami Slam on Vagin and immediately using the heavy spin. But if you notice in the last team fight, like Vagin was too deep to use the heavy spin. I'm not sure, but maybe on Upatizi on carry. But like, it was too deep and the rest of the teammates were like so far away from him. There was no follow up. So it gave Alpha 7 here the chance to respawn so well on the team fight here, like take down the players, opening the high ground tower on the bottom lane here. So by the time that Entity 7 tried to initiate once, it almost like worked even bad for them and they almost lost the game. So let's see what is going to happen in the next few minutes.
Yeah, we are almost reaching the promised land here. 19 minutes on the board, 28 seconds left for the next Lord as both teams are scrambling back and forth. Still an even game, 57k. So even for both of these teams, but we're at a point where items and gold leads no longer matter. It's going to come down to the initiating factor for both of these teams. And unfortunately, I want to say the initiating factor seems to have always been the Tsunami Slam. Heavy spin is out. Vagain's going to have to find himself a disengagement from the side. Shin comes in, trying to pour on the damage. Now a Lord up at the top a lane as Alpha 7 scrambles for it. Entity 7 still not in a good position. Doom inside the bush, kind of crawling his way toward that to try to get that orange buff pickup before he goes for this engagement at the Lord.
Yeah, so here 20 minutes on this game. Now the Lord immediately started by Alpha 7, Entity 7. Oh!
Yeah, they come in, but they don't have the heavy spin out anymore. They're gonna have to use that flicker out exactly as possible. Flick able to find a kill onto Vagin. Hide on bush, answers back to Upatizi, taking down the marksman. Flick, immortality has been procced. Down goes the jungler for Alpha 7. Frostlane Eve able to answer back with taking down a jungler of his own, but Doom answering back. It's just Hesu alone being chased down by Akashi. Can Entity 7 close this up? Hesu getting chased down by Shin right now with those pools, looking for the stuns as right now Doom trying to press into the middle of the base. Hesu still has that immortality, trying to get back to the base, find the save. There goes a Death Sonata coming out from Doom. Now a one soul minion and Doom spraying and praying on the core. Immortality proc from Hesu cannot save the base. Another win for Entity 7.
Bush here getting the back line and neutralizing Upatizi. It was all what they needed to secure this last team fight and the third victory here, Zena.
What a game that was. They were trading blow for blow, keeping it pretty even there. Always at the Lord fight, there's always a team wipe in every match so far, almost every match. So this is pretty crazy how this game is going on, and that one kind of sucked at the end there for the fact that only Hesu was alive and they were keeping him away from base to be able to defend it. So the amazing play there by Entity 7. Wonderful job.
Man, I think we already know who the MVP is going to be going to before we even take a look at these stats, man. I have to apologize. I know I started this off by pouring out a lot of my grievances for the Granger pick, but man, let me tell you, Doom really turns my head to what you can execute with the Granger, the damage that was able to come out from him, the poking ability, the Death Sonatas to try to keep Alpha 7 at bay. Not just that, but especially with a lot of these Rhapsodies, able to really nail down, get the maneuvering that he needed to find a lot of these kills. 13, 4, and 7 for Doom here. Not to be outdone by, I want to say, Shin, who had himself a great game here. Maybe not as flashy as getting the kills, but 2, 1, and 19 meant he was always around, always a part of all of these fights.
Yeah. So many situations here, like for Entity 7, especially to avoid this initiations coming out from Alpha 7 here, like always Shin with the Flame of Vengeance here, like with this like natural Purify to avoid like Tsunami Slam. Oh, here we saw here like Doom using the Purify here on the top side, leading this advantage for Entity 7, which was like a leading Alpha 7. Some limited choices here to when it comes to those initiations, because okay, Paquito like using Tsunami Slam, forcing Purify from Doom. Okay, but it is only in a few times here, because most of the times, especially when it comes to these team fights, Doom is on the back line. So Doom is not able to like do this front line and playing so aggressive here to show the face off every time here. So who was in the front? Vagin. Okay, so Vagin using Slam Slam, have spin immediately. Shin, if he got a Shin here lost, using the Flame of Vengeance. So it was like not really easy for Alpha 7, even though with good initiations, even though with Hasu trying this flank, trying this back line so many times here to impact for Alpha 7. So Entity 7 were like not like cooking, but also like having this resilience, especially to avoid these problems for letting Doom shine once again. And that's what he did. Shine with Granger all the time, and working on this range, working on this zoom out here once again on Vagin. So Vagin was like using the heavy spin all the time, and on the only time that Entity 7 like it started to initiate the team fight, like Vagin was too deep, it was like a very good for I think it was on this team fight. So look at I see Vagin. Okay, Vagin was like trying to neutralize Upatizi, right? He used the heavy spin, so the rest of the teammates was like, okay, where are you, Vagin? So we are not allowed to do so much on this team fight, so it gave Alpha 7 the chance to take down, I believe it was like 4 or 5 players here to take the Lord, and it almost closed up the game on the bottom lane here, but Vagin like was respawned at the right time here to using heavy spin to like pushing the minions out from the base, which led Entity 7 a second life here, and it was all what they needed here to let Doom once again to shine, get this triple kill. It only poor Hasu, here to try to save the day for Alpha 7, but it still wasn't enough.
Yes, and when the pressure hit its peak, this player turned up the heat. Here's your MVP, of course, Doom. He put the Doom on Alpha 7 there. 13.47 KDA, 104.7k total damage, 757 gold per minute. What a performance that was.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, right from mid game, once he started getting those items in there, he was constantly spraying, and I feel like this was kind of a problem with the composition coming out from Alpha 7, is they didn't really have a way to get to that back line. They tried to get the Tsunami Slam. They ultimately relied on, all right, we'll just get a Kai. If that's going to be our only target, we're going to start on a Kai, get that damage. But meanwhile, there's the front end of the fight and then the back end of the fight where Doom is just constantly putting the pressure and the damage on to the enemy jungler here. Look at him, constantly on flick, immortality. Doom right there, he's gonna flicker forward on the flick and find the kill then as well. Not just that, but I feel like this fight was really funny for me because Akashi had took Hesu for a journey at the top of the map because Hesu was chasing him down, and that took away a huge amount of damage for the side of Alpha 7, and eventually when Hesu turned around, his entire team was wiped there, and you have Akashi just sitting there like because he's the only one left, and they end up being able to separate him while Doom was able to take down the core.
let's fly together here. So on this on the top side here in this last game, which means now like we're heading for another draft. Is the game number 5? Yeah, now I'm right. It's the game number 5 here. It is 3-1 for Entity 7, which leads about some questions. First of all, the global ban. So there's so many heroes here not allowed to use so far. At least if we head to the game number 7 here, which we get this full reset of all heroes, and all heroes are like open to use again. But still, like, I'm thinking of Doom, for example, because no Granger, no carry, no Claude, for example, for Doom, or no Bruno. What is left? Harriet. But Alpha 7 can ban Harriet here on this draft to avoid this problem for Doom. So there's so many questions here when it comes to this draft that we are excited to see what is going to happen, because at this point of the game, at this point of the match, we have to see what they are able to bring on this draft.
I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I think there's still a decent amount of options out there. I hope it's. I feel we saw a 1-1 yesterday, and I feel like. Yeah, the Harith is going to come out. Yesterday we saw a 1-1 come out, and the first thing that came to my mind was like, "You're not Gusta La Gusta." Like I don't know if you're going to be able to. I don't think that 1-1. I think that kind of got into people's head when Gusta La Gusta was able to use it. I was like, "Oh, 1-1 is part of the meta now." It's like, no, that's just Gusta La Gusta being himself on a 1-1. Clint, I feel like, is maybe the next choice that could probably come out of there. His disengage not too well, but as you start getting into the late game, he can start doing some real decent damage. Irotel, another one, especially because she can utilize a Demon Hunter as well, that can really kind of shred down a lot of the tankier compositions that we've been seeing. So I feel like there's still some options. I mean, I don't want to show bias or say that I'm rooting for a team. I'm rooting for a game. I want to go to a game 6 because I want to see what we have left when that game 6 kind of comes around, because that's going to basically be the maximum of what these guys can do for these player pools. I want to say pretty standard draft. You already predicted that the Herald is going to come out. They don't want to give that over to Doom, especially with the, or actually, yeah, they don't want to give that over to Doom.
Valor and
also Zushin and the Freya and Boxia.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure. Doom is a player to stop for sure. They want to make sure that there's less heroes out there for him. There's still a lot, like you said, out there. Beatrix, Irithel, we've seen as well, been playing around here. So he has options. There's still chances for him to kind of do something here. They're gonna go ahead and ban out the Leo here and Marcel as well.
Yeah, and there's still Obsidia here as one of the options when it comes to this draft here. But okay, Obsidia lasts for late game, but still it's an option here for for Entity 7. But we are gonna see here. We have to see what is Entity 7 is gonna bring it out. Oh, Valentina here for Alpha 7. It's a very interesting one here, which means like Entity 7 now working and thinking more about this draft here, not to allow strong ultimates for Valentina for Alpha 7. But now Entity 7 here with the Suyo and Hylos. Okay, so the Glorious Path here. So that's a very interesting situation, especially to Entity 7 who likes to play like trying to dominate and playing aggressive all the time here versus Alpha 7.
Yeah, a Valentina, which I assume is out to counter the potential of a Sora coming out in the XP lane for the side of Entity 7. But regardless, I feel like an early Valentina here. I feel like usually you kind of save that for a little bit later once you have a few ultimates under your belt that you can kind of go with there. Oh, a Joy and Kacha coming out for the side of Alpha 7 here. That's going to be very interesting too, to see if that Joy can kind of get to the back line. They are not afraid of it. Carrie is a decent, I don't want to say a counter, but she's probably one of the better marks. And how did we forget that the Carrie was still available?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many bans, okay, in our defense.
There's so many great heroes.
But yes,
So many
they're
great
gonna
heroes
go
here.
ahead and pick that up for sure. The carry, of course, is the #1 pick here. That was open. They left that open for them. So on the side here, for Alpha 7, we have to see what they're gonna end up choosing. They have Joy, Garokacha, going against the Suyu and Hylos here, banning out the Sora because there's really no point in picking him up anyways because Valentina was his counter for them. So they're like, oh, you're not gonna get him either. So. And then they go ahead and ban out Barca as well.
Yeah, and when it comes to global ban here, guys, I gotta be honest with you. If I was a coach, there would be like so many remakes here because I would forget so many times like about the gray heroes or a banned hero that we're not supposed to use. You know, I would like, okay, so you use carry. No, the coach, carry is already banned, so we already used it. Oh yeah, really? Oh, okay, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, we already seen here that they already did that once where they it was already banned on their side, but they still banned it anyway, or they already used it, but they still banned it on the opposite team. I mean, it's something that people can make a mistake, so.
But here, like, back on the draft here now, banning Sora and Yuzong here on XP lane once again, like, Entity 7 reading the strength when it comes to Hasu on XP lane, but now banning Sora. So probably Valentina on the mid lane and Sora on XP lane here, but Gore, I was about to say Lilia on Entity 7 composition, but Gord here, okay, with the Hylos, with the like the control situation, that can be interesting, but still I don't know, it's gonna be very interesting versus Valentina, Joy for example, and Gato Chacha with the avatar of the Guardian.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the perfect opportunity for it. I've been heavily critiquing the Avatar of the Guardian because a lot of people use it as an initiating tool, which everybody can escape from. In fact, the only thing he really shines against is mages who have to stand still for their ultimates, one of those being Gord. So that's going to be a very interesting, not just that, but you also have the answers who can get to the back line very quickly with those dashes. Valentina, Joy, Lapu now as well. So, man, Shin is going to have himself a rough game unless we have the XP who's gonna, I mean, a Cho could probably possibly help to possibly offset something that's gonna be able to peel for the Gord, or something to possibly get some CC down when this line from Alpha 7 eventually closes the distance, which they will be able to. You don't have a Vengeance Flame to get you out of harm's way, possibly a Purify. Not bad, but Quito, I don't mind seeing that out there too. I feel like that might be able to do a good job if it sticks to Gord to be able to kind of push back a lot of these people who are going to try to close that distance.
Yeah. But we believe that Paquito here is more to like from the damage on XP lane here with Akashi than to protect this Gord or making this appeal for the carry for Entity 7 here. So we are going to wait to see what is going to happen on this game so far, but which is going to be very interesting, especially on the jungler here, like Flake versus Hide and Bush, like two aggressive junglers here, Suyo and Joy. Sheen, which we're talking about, like, which is gonna have some problems here when it comes to this dashes and the avatar of the Guardian with the Paquito. On the gold lane here, I believe that Upatis is going to maybe on the early game and the mid game like bullying a Doom here, but on the late game they have to be careful about like this gold laner, which is doing a great job so far here on this final.
Yeah, I'm very interested here because especially with Gord, I like to see a little bit more CC or control from the side of Entity 7, a Grok, possibly a Gwen or something that can kind of hold him there. You're not just leaning on Gord and his own CC out there, because that CC doesn't last very long, and especially if we're going to be seeing some types of Purify come out from the side of Alpha 7, that CC can be an immediate turn on to Shin here and turning them on to Gord.
Yep, so these are things we are going to see now, because everybody, welcome to the Land of Dawn. This is the championship map from for Entity 7. Alpha 7 has to react now. It's a now or never situation for them. So let's go, Private.
Yeah, the back backs are against the wall for Alpha 7 as Entity 7 is sitting at game point, looking at a ticket to MSC, looking at an opportunity to take on the champions of the North here. It all comes down to this match. If Alpha 7 can find an answer, and already look at the pressure mounting from both of them. That was a huge fight for just the little Little Wanderer there.
Yeah, the huge fight here, and Entity 7 forcing Hasu to use the flick on the top side here, on the XP, on the gold lane actually. Okay, I'm seeing the signs on the map here, so on the top side.
Yeah, so the gold lane is at the bottom, despite what the map says there. But let's go ahead and take a look at these emblems as well.
So here, like Brave Smile when it comes to Hasu, Quantum Charge here with Bruno and Carry here. Okay, and Imperial Rage when it comes to the mid lane. So Shinla working on this bargain hunter here to get these items so fast. Meanwhile, the conclusive blast here for the Roamer, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so now on the mid lane here, like a 3v2 situation, but now they're heading for their first turtle. 5 seconds left for this very important objective here so far, Private.
Yeah, you can see both of them on a little double team up at the top to try to hold Akashi at a bay while this first turtle is up. Flick getting into a good position, but it doesn't look like Entity 7 are concerned. They're going to go for the bottom. They're looking for the kill onto Upatizi, and Upatizi reads it so well. He's going to be able to get that little soccer slide and get himself out of harm's way. That means a free turtle for the side of Alpha 7. And now coming in for a glorious pathway to chase down the last member here, Bagin, taking a whole heap of damage, even with the suppressive fire in the form of the Mystic Gush coming out from Shin. Hide on Bush, able to find himself a kill as well. Turning the tables here. 3 down for the side of Alpha 7, who may have bit off more than they could chew in the enemy's territory.
Yeah, the start here was amazing for Alpha 7 getting 2 kills, but the response here for Entity 7 guaranteed triple kill for Hide on Butch, which is going to be very, very interesting here when it comes to these both teams once again. Oh, Joy here playing aggressive one on the top side of the river. Oh, let's go.
Yeah, they're going in, going on to Hide on Bush, who's going to use that blade surge to get himself out of harm's way. Shin able to find a kill onto Upatizi with the assist of his team. And I want to say that opening is possibly like one of the worst things that can happen for you for Alpha 7. They get the Lord, and then they try to chase down Bagin. All 3 of those kills went to Hide on Bush. That's like on the list of horrible ways to start a game. I want to say that's probably number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, there's one thing that I didn't get it, because after Guarantee the Turtle, like, using the Glorious Path here with Frost and Heavy to, like, chase down the players of Entity 7. I believe that the intention was good, but, and then the beginning of the team fight was really interesting for them because they got the kills, but the response was, like, immediately, especially with Hide on Bush. And now one more kill on the goal lane here on Upatizi. So Alpha 7 cannot lose this trade here.
Yeah, they need to be very careful about this early game here, as it's really starting to edge on the side of Entity 7. Despite what I want to say, I feel like this draft heavily favors Alpha 7, but I feel like the playstyle here is definitely kind of... Oh my god, look at the damage coming out! Hide on Bush, they burst Paquito down! Frostlane Eve able to find a kill to return a favor to Shin. Now the rest of Entity 7 coming in for reinforcement. Flick able to find a kill onto Bagin. And now, ooh, very low. Hasu has to get out of harm's way. Akashi, the same thing. Doom has to use his flicker to back up underneath his tower, which will open up this next turtle for Alpha 7.
It was a very tied up team fight here between the 2 teams, but at the end of the day, Alpha 7 getting this advantage to guarantee the second turtle for them. Gold lead here, there's none, because there's even for both teams. And now in the bottom lane, oh,
a big Mystic Gush there. And this is kind of what I've been talking about, is like you don't really have a lot of CC on Shin. Okay, getting a little confident there on that gore, especially because you don't really have an escape except for the flicker.
Yeah, who needs control when I have my own stun here with Gord? I don't need you guys. But Even though here, jokes aside, Entity 7 like trying to still dominate here some initiations and some actions, especially when it comes to the gold lane here, like to delay this Bruno's power spike as much as they can. But now the tower number 1 here on the bottom lane in favor for Alpha 7.
Yeah, and right now, kind of jockeying for position. We still got about a whole minute until the next turtle comes up on the map here. Both teams looking for an opportunity back in. Gonna go in, gets a little bit of a stun there. Mystic Gush on the Paquito's gonna go ahead and use that Revitalize to get himself out. That's gonna be 2 ultimates down, or actually an ultimate down, as Shin used his Mystic Gush, and he's not gonna have it available for this next fight.
Yeah, which is not, it's not very interesting for Alpha 7, like if Paquito is the main target here on this initiations from Entity 7. Because we were talking about, okay, using the Mystic Gush here, Shin being like, being stopped and stuck, and will be like a very good opportunity to Gato Chacha to use the Avatar and forgot it. Oh, here comes Blur's Path.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say Hide on Bush has been so good with these blade surges to be able to find himself an escape to come in there. And yeah, I mean, I kind of read that when Entity 7, they're continually kind of locking on Paquito. They're looking for any target they can get. Unfortunately, that's always been Paquito. And without Hide on Bush there, they don't exactly have the damage even with the Mystic Gush kind of coming out there. Upatizi laying on the damage onto this turtle. Paquito on the backside looking for the flank. Hide on Bush spots him out. 50% now left onto this turtle. Ooh, from the backside. Is that going to be it? Oh, Hasu trying to go in with the bravest fighter. Flick able to find himself the turtle there. Now the rest of Entity 7 going in. Glorious pathway has been laid out to help secure Alpha 7 and escape on the backside. Avatar the Guardian lands on the 3 members. Is that going to be enough? No. Back in, able to take down Paquito. 1 down for Alpha 7, but they do pick themselves up a turtle.
Man, what happened to Hasu?
You saw that. He tried the bravest fighter, and he wasn't able to make the jump over the turtle pit there. So he just kind of bravest fighter alone on the backside of that pit there. So now another fight coming out there. Glorious pathway laid out on the side of Entity 7. Mystic Gush latching on to Hasu, drops him down to 25%.
I want to defend my brother here. I sometimes this that wall is bigger than we think. It's bigger than we like able to consider. So it happens even with the best players of MLBB. But still here, jokes aside, 3 turtles for Alpha 7. But I think that when it comes to this team fight, Entity 7 are having this advantage. Oh, once again, Frostblood never here. Let's see Mystic Gush coming out from Shin, which has been a very pain in the neck here versus Alpha 7. Oh, here we go.
Ooh, big flicker comes out from Shin. They really tried Avatar the Guardian and a Glorious Pathway coming out. They really thought that they had Shin, who able to flicker himself away. And now going to go ahead and mount some pressure onto the mid lane, looking to take this tower for themselves. Look at the backside, Hide on Bush, looking for an angle in here. Is it going to come in? And that's going to be enough pressure for Entity 7 to take themselves down a tower. Now continuing on the fight, Akashi in trouble, taking a lot of damage, going to have to use that Revitalize to keep himself up. Or Vagin going to use the Revitalize to keep up his XP laner.
I thought that we would be watch the same mistake again coming up from Entity 7 on the tower 1 and 2 on the mid lane. But now they took down the tower on the mid lane here, and they decided not to take this overextending here versus Alpha 7. A very good idea, but now the Lord is on the pitch here on the downside of the river, but Vagin is aware of that, so both teams now are fighting to this Lord.
Yeah, now kind of jockeying for a little bit of position, trying to poke the Lord. I think they kind of want the fight. You can see Joy flick up at the top, looking for an angle in. He's not immediately at the Lord just yet. He's kind of waiting for the information to be fed to him from Alpha 7 about when they want to go to the engagement. The Guardian lands on the 2 members. Glorious Pathway is out. Hasu finds a kill onto Shin. Flick able to take down Doom. The 2 biggest damage dealers for the side of Entity 7 are down, and they unfortunately have to find a disengagement. That's going to be a free Lord for the side of Alpha 7.
A very good initiation now from Alpha 7. 2 players down here on Entity 7. Now the Lord heading out for Alpha 7 here. A very good chance to open the map, to open the towers. Meanwhile, Akashi was like compensating on the top side here, taking down the tower number 1. But the Lord is heading on the bottom side here. Meanwhile, like as they don't have the tower number 2, only the high ground towers here on the bottom lane. So now Alpha 7 has a good chance here to work on this pressure.
Oh, up at the top, a Flick gets surprised by 2 members of Entity 7 who are lying in that bush. He went up there to clear out the minions and they absolutely bamboozled him. Now at the bottom lane, the rest of Entity 7 going to go ahead, try to take down this Lord as they've been able to mount a decent amount of pressure away from their towers. Shin going to go ahead, focus down on the mid, and Entity 7 makes short work of this Lord at the bottom.
Akashi, oops, okay. Oh, here comes on the mid lane.
Yeah, a little bit of a stun coming out with that Blade Surge coming out from Hide on Bush, followed up by the Mystic Gush, but not able to finish the job. And this has kind of been my biggest critique, is that we're not getting the full value out of the Mystic Gush. And despite how good Shen is, he's got a very small little window with his CC that he can throw out, and we don't really have another bit of CC. I mean, Hide on Bush basics, I mean, he has the charged Blade Surge that he can use that can get a stun, but I mean, that's the only other real one that you have there to be able to kind of open up this Mystic Gush. Otherwise, these people are going to be turning around trying to latch on the Shin. Ooh, he went very close to that bush with Paquito in there.
Yeah, we're using like this, using the skill here to spot the enemy on the bush on the mid lane here, so it is working for Shin so well. But still, like, okay, some Mystic Gush are connecting the damage, but not enough to get players down from Alpha 7. This game here, like, besides Alpha 7, like getting this last Lord, oops, here Bagin versus Hasu. Okay, what? Forcing Hasu here to get back. Meanwhile, Entity 7 is destroying 1 tower here on the bottom lane. You know what is it's more funny here, it's funnier. Entity 7 lost the Lord and they don't have the tower number 2 on the bottom lane here, but even the gold lead here, even from Entity 7, even though, because we saw Akashi a surprising flick on the top side here, taking down, and Entity 7 not losing the rhythm on this game so far.
And this has been one of the biggest strengths for Entity 7. You might be able to match their pace, but I feel like their macro gameplay is pretty much unmatched here in the South right now. Even when you're trying to take it to them toe-to-toe, they're still going to be able to get the gold lead up. They're still going to be able to get the towers that they need. And you're going to always have Hide on Bush constantly farming, constantly doing what he needs to do to keep those stacks up, to make sure that on the Suyo, he's still going to be as dangerous as he needs to be.
Yeah, but now here, 1 more Lord on the top side of the river here. Both teams are aware of that. Akashi, the most aggressive one here, but here comes the rest of the teams here. The rest of Entity 7, the Lord with almost half HP, but now getting a reset. But now Entity 7 immediately is starting this Lord again. Will we have a very strong team fight here? Once again, Lord it comes, Lord and goes, getting reset, gets off the pit once again. Both teams are baiting to bait the bait of the bait here, Private.
Yeah, I mean, I think they realize how important this Lord is in this next fight. This could be the game caller. Their Avatar, the Guardian, comes out. Shen immediately flickers out of the way. Akashi caught in there. Out comes the Glorious Pathway back in. Running back, getting the healing. The rest of Entity 7 forcing onto Alpha 7, who's forced to disengage. Paquito goes down. Down goes Flick. A double. A triple for Hide on Bush. Oh my God. 4 down for Hide on Bush, trying to get this last Savage. A Savage for Hide on Bush to end the series for Entity 7, who will be going to meet the North American representatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A Savage here by Hide on Bush, and most important of all, the champion Entity 7 on the grand final of MCT AMER South, Zena.
Wow, what a way to end it with a savage at that. Entity 7 taking the win here. Wonderful job by them. They just had really great team play and synergy that it was not a matchup at all against them at this point.
Boy, let me tell you, that is how you end a series. Hide on Bush came back with a vengeance, a full savage to close out this game. And unfortunately for Alpha 7, who put in as much as they could, Entity 7 retained their title as the monsters of the AMER South.
Yeah, look at Viking here with the sunglasses to take all the fashion style on this Entity 7's art on being the champion of the MCT AMER South. Well deserved for Entity 7. Different from yesterday when they lost through Alpha 7 on the upper bracket final. But today they came differently. Oh, even yesterday they won 3-0 from versus the DreamX, which gave them confidence here versus Alpha 7 once again. And in the best of 7 here, Private, they gave no chance for Alpha 7. Okay, what gave for Alpha 7 here? Like to get this little hope for the boys from Alpha 7, but even though Entity 7 with the full dominance, with the full confidence here, especially on Hide on Bush and Doom on the gold lane. Okay, last game here, Doom, no kills, but who cares? Because on the Granger here, he has a high performance. But once again here, when it comes to when we talk about the solid team, Private and Xena, we talk about the 5 players are so good, right? But we can say that maybe someday someone is not so inspired, someone is not so like in 100% on the performance, but it is still have the other friends, it is still have the other teammates to compensate this performance, you know. So here from Entity 7, I don't think it was the case, because everyone played so well. Akashi, Doom, Shin, Hide on Bush, Vagin, oh my goodness, especially playing with Akai here, for example, to avoid those initiations on the last game. Here, a savage from Hide on Bush on the last game here. What a golden way to finish this MCT AMER South and leading the title for Entity 7.
I think we already know who this MVP is, Xena.
All right, now this is the kind of performance people remember. Hide on Bush over here, of course, getting that MVP with that savage at the end, just saying 902 KDA, 56.5k total damage, 803 gold per minute. He was a beast on that field.
Yeah. I want to say my biggest complaint about the composition was where was the other damage going to be coming out from, not just from the Mystic Gush, but who else in the early game was going to be able to provide that. Early game, it felt like Hide on Bush was being a little bit flat-footed, not really wanting to get in the engagements, waiting to get those items that he needed, consistently farming, consistently finding his ways in there until that final fight. He knew all the items he had. He knew what that I think a 9-0, actually I think it was a 5-0, 4-0 and 2 that he was before that last fight. So he had a few stacks there left on the Sky Piercer, and man, absolutely went ham throughout the game. And like you were talking about, you get some of the highlights when it comes to some of these MVPs, but really the entire team did such an excellent job to help enable this out there. Here you could see the Shin being able to get out of the way of that flicker, 2 glorious pathways going out there, and then Hide on Bush coming in here, singling out one by one, taking out each of the members here, until finally it was Hesu who tried to go underneath the tower, but Hide on Bush was ready, and swoop, boom, a huge savage to close out this game for the side of Entity 7.
Yeah.
Wonderful play there for sure by the side of Entity 7, only allowing Alpha 7 one win there. They came back with a vengeance. They're like, this revenge match, we're gonna let you know who we are. And they did just that.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest here, like with the Savage coming out from Hidden Bush, like, oh, where did this live 2 come from? Because like almost taking down, like suddenly, like with some basic attacks and some skills, like his H move, like whoop, going up again. I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening here? Was like able to lead Hidden Bush on this Savage in the last game. So well-deserved MVP, well-deserved here a title for Entity 7 in this grand final. Sadly, as a caster, as we like from the entertaining here, like from MLBB, we were expecting more games here. We were expecting like more competitive, but one situation here is maybe one team, not talking about like one team is better than the other, you know, but as we were seeing, like Entity 7 always in the top side of the bracket, always in the top side here, like in the highest seats, like Entity 7 getting beaten yesterday, but today once again like letting the head on the table, you know, like okay, so we got a full reset here, the mentality to this final, and they got this reset and they were the champion.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from Alpha 7, and this is what I've talked about before. When you get to this level of play, when one team has that ingredient, has the answer, and especially when they come up from the lower bracket, because I don't want to say they were embarrassed, but they had some things to work on, they're going to come back with a vengeance, and it almost sometimes seems overwhelming, and that's kind of what happened here to Alpha 7. Despite how good of a team that Alpha 7 here is, Entity 7 was still able to overwhelm them. They were able to find and close those little cracks that were in their armor that sent them down to the lower bracket, and they answered back quickly, firmly, and ferociously, and that thusly earning the honor here. And I know there's a lot of questions from people out there who might be a little bit confused, but that means that Entity 7 will be facing Alpha 7 North in the grand finals of the AMER tournament, which will happen, I believe, in 2 weeks as well. So that's going to be a live final, and I know a lot of people are very excited to see how that goes.
Yes, for sure. Looking forward to see both of those teams go against each other, the North and the South, finally mashing up together and taking on each other for the win, and see who will reign the champions of the Americas.
Yes, always reminding you guys, the people on the chat here. So this was the MCT AMER South final. So now they're heading to fight the MCT AMER South, AMER North. Champion, which was Alpha 7 North, which is gonna be like a few weeks ahead. We still have this information for you guys, so you be sure to keep on follow our social networks to know where it's gonna happen this grand final, like between MCT AMER North and South here, to see who is gonna be the real champion of the Americas.
Yes, be sure to like and comment on the stream, you guys. We still have more to come, because you are going to see Alpha 7 North going against Entity 7 in about 2 weeks here. So we want to keep those likes and all that going on. So be sure to give it that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and keep on watching.
Yeah, a big shout out to all the viewers who were able to come here and watch the finals, the group finals of the AMER South. I know there were a lot there for the AMER North as well. So now got a lot of information here that you guys can go and start rumors about who's going to win, who might not be able to last. But in 2 weeks, we will find out who the real winner of the AMER tournament will be. And I'm very excited about it, because like I said, this has been my first time really dipping my toes into the South, the players, the history here. A big shout out here to Rico, who has been schooling me back and forth about all the history of all these players and the teams that have been coming out here. And I want to say I'm very impressed, and I feel like the worst thing that can happen, especially when it comes to the North, is to underestimate these teams that are coming out from the South, because man, there are some big challengers coming out of this region.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what is going to happen. But now we have to thank for the big responsible for all this magic happen here, Zena.
Yes, we gotta give it up to Runestone for putting this all together for us. Runestone.gg is where you get your data and analytics to be top tier, just like these players here on the tournament.
Yeah, if you guys are looking to up your gameplay, up the level of what you want to do, become a pro player, that starts with information about the game, and look no further than to find that information on runestone.gg.
Yeah, so you have the chance to improve your gameplay level here with Runestone, and we are sure that you learned something watching this grand final here on the MCT AMER South. So thanks to Runestone here for making this magic happen here for us.
Yes, for sure. Make sure you take all this information that you learned and put it into your gameplay when you go play Mobile Legends as well on your own.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things gonna come out, and I want to say I've kind of thoroughly enjoyed. I know South America has had a little bit of a taste when it comes to the global bans and stuff like that. Here, I feel like it has been a great experience to cast and to even figure out some of the strategies coming out from a lot of these teams when it comes to these bans and who's left and who's been picked off there. And then when we get to those later stages where we're all just like, bro, I don't know. It's all my picks are grayed out, so I don't know what else we can go ahead and pick. Maybe you guys in the viewers out there in the chat can go ahead and let us know what you thought about the global bans as well.
Yeah, talking about this global ban here, as we're seeing like so many situations when it comes to this MCT AMER North and South here, which is gonna be like was a very big surprise, because we were watching like the other regions tournament like MPLs on Indonesia or Philippines, for example, which they don't have this system. But so many people like asking about this global ban and why the other regions doesn't have this format here yet. But it still is something that I believe that Moonton is working on it, but it still is something new for the players, for the teams to like to work and get adapted by that. But I believe that it's going to be very, very cool and very like a dynamic system for the rest of the planet here, as if they work with a global ban. By the time I believe that for our casters, for us casters, and for the people on the chat, to see like many heroes, to see the other heroes, sometimes that they're mains, sometimes that they're like the favorites on this championship scenario. It's gonna be like one of the coolest things from MLBB, from Moonton so far.
Yes, for sure. I'm super excited to have this implemented more out there, because I, for one, enjoyed seeing a lot of my players or my heroes that I play on the field that are not usually picked in these tournaments. But be sure to follow us on our social media, guys, and MLBB, NA Esports. We're on Kick, Twitch, X, Insta, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, you name it. You can stay up to date on what's going on in this tournament as it goes on, and more as well on other tournaments that happen within the community.
Yeah, if you guys missed any of the action, if you were unfortunate enough not to see the spectacular ending to the South Grand Finals, I'm sure you'll be able to catch the highlights and all the action on MLBB NA Esports as well.
All of this plus what is happening on MLBB scenario, on MLBB ecosystem, packed notes, new heroes, memes, our content creators, the beautiful casters as you're seeing here ourselves, everything you are about to know if you follow our social network, and even more the other events, even the other championships like EWC, like the MH, which is gonna be I believe in Turkey this year. So many cool things on MLBB scenario that you can know and you're about to know if you follow our social networks.
And for that, this is the last time you're gonna see us, so be sure to follow us on our social medias. Private Dancer, Zena, Lily, Rico. We have our social medias here for you guys, and you guys can keep up to date with us and chat with us as well and follow us. Any last words do you guys want to say to everybody before we head on out?
It has been an absolute honor to cast for the South. I know for North America, it's been a learning experience because I know a lot of us didn't know a lot going into this, and I feel like I'm very honored to be part of the reason that we will know a little bit more going on into these grand finals. It's been an absolute honor. Like Zena said, unfortunately, this will be the last cast for us for this first season of the AMER South, but hopefully you guys will be paying attention and see us returning for the next season as it comes up and more news gets announced. For Zena, Rico, it has been an absolute honor to cast alongside both of you.
Yeah, so as Travis said, go ahead, Zena.
No, go.
It's been an honor here to work with you guys, Zena, Private. You were amazing. Me as a Brazilian caster, like being on the English broadcast was a hard challenge for me. Being honest, I'm so sorry about my English level. I'm so sorry about anything here, guys. But this is what I love to do. This is what I like to do. Even though it's been a hard challenge for me, from the first day, meeting you guys and working with you guys, it's been an honor. It's been so happy for you. I'm gonna stop talking right now, so I'm gonna cry. So please, Zena.
Oh, don't cry. It's been an honor passing along you guys as well. And with that, the journey comes to an end with an incredible South Group final here. From the opening matches to the Swiss stage, all the way to tonight's championship battle, we've witnessed amazing plays, unforgettable moments, and non-stop passion from every team that stepped onto the stage. Tonight, one team rose above the rest and earned their place as champions. To all the players, to team, staff, and fans, thank you for being part of this incredible journey and for making this journey so special. And from all of us here at MCT AMER South, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for more Mobile Legends action.
Bye, guys!
Bye.